Meantime, there's a credits button. It's a different song. Well, it's been good. Apparently we're ending it here because the credits are... A lot of people worked on this game, more than I realized. Winky Lee, the Chinese translator. That was actually nice. I didn't even know you could hold the B button to skip text. I'm at like the end of the last game on here. I didn't know you could do that. Katie, show up. Katie. Waiting for do 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 do. There is Katie. Responded. We're almost underway. Hey. All right. So let's do a quick recap of what I kind of remember. Nice outfit, nostalgia critic. Hey, this is my Donkey Kong cosplay. Leave me alone. Um, I tied this tie myself. I'm proud. Anyway, so we came back to this side of the bridge because Gumshoe built the bridge repairs thingy. When we came over here, we saw that there was like a big old cyclock looking thingy on the thing that has Maya inside it. Um, we went and talked to some people and ran around, and when we came back, to bring Iris over here to open up the lock, there were 5 locks instead, meaning that somebody between then and now has placed more locks in order to keep Maya in there. Let's see. I'm trying to remember what else happened. There's a bunch of stuff. Yeah, there's gravy splashed on that art thingy of Steve Fay. What about Godot? Godot talked to us about his about why he hates Phoenix, and he said like because we didn't protect Mia. We found Pearl. We were traveling around with Francisca doing investigations for some reason until Godot showed up and told her off. And I think that's about it. So Larry is around. And I don't know what was up with Bikini. I can't remember. Just back up a little. So, oh right, Bikini told us that Elise Denim was actually Mystic Misty. But yeah, we found bloody writing on this I don't know what you'd call it, lantern thingy that says Maya. We found the true crime scene where all the stuff took place. So anyways, yeah, we brought Iris over here to open the lock, and now there are 5 locks. So let's pick it up from here.
Right. Is this what Godot was talking about?
Yeah, the trick locks.
Now then, Iris, please remove these at once.
Mr. Edgeworth, I'm afraid I can't. It's not possible for me.
What?
During the earthquake, when the cavern was in danger of caving in, Iris escaped. Oh yeah, there was an earthquake, and Iris ran off. Because Edgeworth freaks out when there's earthquakes, and he was watching her. And I know that there was only 1 lock when I last came here. So you're saying that you can't undo the new locks?
Yes.
If only I was stronger.
Edgeworth, how are you feeling? You look a little pale in the face.
Like you're one to talk with your face all green.
Miles Edgeworth, go and get some air. I'll watch over the suspect. You go and get a grip on yourself.
Don't be ridiculous. I'm perfectly...
There's no telling what sort of mistakes you could make in your current state. Go and get some rest. That's your only concern now, Miles Edgeworth.
Understood. I'll handle the investigation in the garden. You take care of things here.
Edgeworth? He's got so much pride that he's probably off crying in a corner of the garden. Pride is simply another trap that hinders us in our lives. That said, one must have pride to be effective on the job. At any rate, it seems that this is where we part ways. Phoenix Wright. I'm gonna stay here and see if I can't help solve these bothersome puzzles. Woohoo! I see. Well, thanks for your help. Now then, do you mind if I ask you a few things, Iris?
No, not at all.
Alright, let's talk to Iris. Escape. Why did you make a run for it, Iris?
I'm sorry. I heard the inner temple had been severely shaken by the strong earthquakes we had. I was so worried, I just had to come and see.
In other words, you didn't run away to escape the law. At least we're clear on that.
I can't tell you how relieved I was when I saw the sacred cavern was alright, but...
But what?
When I saw these chains here... I saw all these extra locks that someone had put on the sacred cavern door and... Who in the world would do something like this? These trick locks are a sacred treasure of the Curian tradition. There are hundreds of ways to set them. That's why only the person who set the lock can open it.
You aren't the one who set these locks. I don't think it's that simple, Francisca von Karma. When we were here the first time, there was only 1 lock. But now, somehow, there's 5 of them.
What does that mean?
It means that someone wanted to secure the place even more. And they wanted to secure it before you got here, Iris. Presumably because they wanted to make sure Maya couldn't get out. This means that Iris can only open one of these locks, the first one.
Yes, that's correct.
What? Iris, try to think, please. Isn't there any way around this?
Well, like I said, there are hundreds of different ways to set these locks. I suppose if I went through every combination with each one, I could remove them. But
It will take time, won't it?
yes, about a day if I had to guess.
A whole day? That's better than leaving the locks in place. Will you do this for us?
Sure, I'll do whatever I can.
We gotta wait another day. Hang in there, Maya. You're going to have to call in on your inner strength now. You know what, Iris? There's still one thing I don't quite get. What might that be? Phoenix, right? I think it's obvious. Iris, on the night of the murder, where were you? Please, Iris, don't give me that look. You told us that you were in your room at the Hazakura Temple at the time of the incident. But you were seen that same evening at the Inner Temple. And then, you were spotted at the scene of the crime at Hazakura Temple too. Being spotted at both Hazakura Temple and the Inner Temple. It's as if you were... Well, Iris, I think it's about time you told us the truth. Knew it. There's something going on here that we don't know about. Inner Temple Gate. Get back to Iris pretty soon. I'm finally getting to the bottom of this case. I can count on Iris to break those locks, so I should try to gather more clues. From Sister Bikini, Edgeworth, Gumshoe, and Pearls. Where should I go to? Courtyard? Do they mean the garden? I'm not sure what they meant. The cops are still combing the place. They look pretty nervous. I'd be nervous too. It's gotta be a tough job. Especially with someone giving you the evil eye the whole time. Wow, I can't believe it's still bothering him. Edgeworth? Hey, don't you dare run away.
What do you want, right?
What do I want?
You came here to laugh at me, then get on with it. Go on, laugh away.
I was ready to hug it out with him, but he's just the same prideful Edgeworth. You went back to the Criminal Affairs Department, right? You said you wanted to look into something concerning Iris.
Yes. Thanks to what I found, I was reminded of something terrible.
Investigation. You guys are putting a lot of effort in the investigation of the garden here, huh?
And there's a high chance this is the actual scene of the crime, that's why.
You mean because of the writing in blood and the talisman in the snow?
Exactly. As you know, these things couldn't have been planted here until after the murder.
But surely, you don't suspect Maya, do you?
We have to treat everyone as a suspect, Maya as well as Iris. It's our job, right?
So, I guess you still haven't gotten over your fear of earthquakes.
No, though thankfully my nightmares have stopped. Still, if the ground gives even the slightest tremor, I find myself short of breath.
17 years ago, when we were little school kids at the same elementary school, Edgeworth found himself in the middle of a murder. It all started with a big quake that hit the courthouse. We all played the first game, right? But let's recap it anyway.
Yes, stuck in the elevator with my father, who is a defense attorney, and Yanni Yogi, who is a crazy old man who runs a boat shop. We were deprived of oxygen and we passed out. That's when it happened. A single gunshot shattered my whole life. I lost everything that day, all because of that earthquake. My dreams, my family, and myself.
It's been more than 17 years now. And that case was finally resolved 2 years ago, right?
You think I don't know that? And I was there, but It was such a shock. I never imagined I could be so wrong about myself and my life. I'm sorry, right? There's nothing else I can say. Not after you chose to become a lawyer for my sake. Not after you saved me.
Edgeworth, you're stronger than you think, so no more of this self-pity, okay? Iris.
Something that was bothering me about her from the moment we met. And I felt like I'd seen her somewhere before. Oh, wait. Not somewhere. I felt like I'd seen her in court before.
So you went back to the Criminal Affairs Department to look for her file?
Yes, I checked over every case file I've ever worked on. And I was right. I had seen her face before, 6 years ago.
6 years ago?
It was my first appearance in court, and as cases go, it was my worst nightmare.
So, who is she?
I'm sorry, right? I can't give that information away to a member of the general public.
Why do they always call me that all of a sudden? I'm a defense attorney. What? Why not? It might be a crucial piece of the puzzle that solves this case. In fact, it actually is.
The woman I knew was the daughter of a jewelry store owner. She had nothing to do with Iris or Hazakura Temple. And neither did the case. No, that woman is completely unrelated to this murder.
Unrelated? Especially considering everything I've gone through. I know, it's ridiculous.
Yes, see, that's with complete confidence.
You're wrong, Edgeworth. She's totally related to this case. And I need to fill Edgeworth in. I need to explain the connection between Iris and the woman Edgeworth knew. I don't think I can actually do this yet, so I'll come back. I thought I'd have the profile for Dahlia to present to him, but I don't see it. Let's head over here. It's weird that there's no one around all of a sudden. It sure gets quiet up here in the mountain when you're all on your own. Speaking of alone, I guess I should go check out the shack just down this path. Maybe I'll find Larry there sulking again. Good old sulking Larry. February 9th, Heavenly Hall.
Oh, Mr. Nick.
Pearls, what are you doing here?
Nothing. What about Mystic Maya? Is she alright?
Well, we don't know yet.
Oh, I see.
Hey, what do you think you're doing here, Nick?
Larry.
This is the loser's shack, where losers get together to lose themselves.
This is the what?
Hey, we find comfort in each other's failures, okay? You got a problem with that?
Look, Mr. Nick, Mr. Larice did a picture of me.
That's, great, Pearls.
We're going to gather firewood now. We're going to be cooking some half-rotten potatoes over a miserable little campfire. So stay out of our way.
I don't believe this. Why can't he try getting fired up over becoming a better man?
No one believes a word I say anymore. Listen to me, Pearl. You don't want to trust this kind of guy, okay? He'll only ever let you down.
Oh, Mystic Maya.
Clarice's sketch. Larry, is there something you want to tell me about this picture?
I got nothing to say to you, Nick. My life's here now with Pearl. Two losers cooking potatoes together forevermore.
Well, what am I gonna do with him? Alright then, what do you think about this picture, Pearls?
I think it's really well drawn. I can't draw at all, so I think it's really amazing.
See, someone appreciates it. Stuff getting the flames to look like that, you know.
It's supposed to be Sister Iris flying through the air, isn't it? I love it. It's like a dream, a wonderful fantasy.
No, it wasn't a dream. She really flew, I'm telling you. Iris really flew that night.
But Mr. Larice.
Not you too, Pearl. Please don't look at me like that. Pearl. Don't look at me like I'm some kind of nutcase, I beg you.
I guess this picture really is a representation of what Larry thinks he saw.
Okay, so I was half asleep when I was here that night. But I was wide awake after the lightning struck. And I saw what I saw. It was exactly like I drew in the picture.
It looks like I don't have any choice but to take this sketch at face value.
Hey, what's with the look of doubt on your face? The night of the crime.
Pearls,
Yes, Mr. Nick.
I've been meaning to ask you about the night of the murder. Where were you, and what exactly were you doing when it all happened?
I was just, well, yeah, I'm just a kid, you know, as you can tell by my voice. I'm sure it doesn't really matter what I was doing, does it, Mr. Nick?
Sorry, Pearls, but yes, it does. On the night of the murder, you were supposed to be in Miss Denim's room reading a book together. But Miss Denim was murdered, and you, Pearls, were at the inner temple.
Mm.
So what exactly happened that night, Pearls?
I'm really sorry, Mr. Nick. I've been a bad girl. They had to move that lock up because my profile picture is a bit lower because I'm short. That's why I'm being punished. Oh, sorry.
What are you talking about, Pearls?
My spiritual power, it has disappeared.
What? Her powers have disappeared? What do you mean your powers have disappeared, Pearls?
It's all over for me. A spirits medium who can't channel spirits is like a painter who can't paint, like Mr. Larice.
Hey, what are you looking at me for?
Pearls, did you try to channel someone's spirit right here at Hazakura Temple? Tried but failed, perhaps?
Wow.
Way to go, Nick! You made her cry! That was really cruel of you!
Just as I thought. I'm gonna have to break her Cyclops to get the truth out of her. Alright. Can't do that yet. I've been trying to get to Gumshoe this whole time, and I haven't even found him yet. I wonder if Sister Bikini is back in the main hall yet. I haven't seen Gumshoe around for a while either. Maybe they're having a cup of tea together somewhere. Bet Gumshoe is Sister Bikini's type. I don't even know her voice. I forgot every time and I had to make it up.
Well, what's the damage? How is Sacred Cavern?
Yeah, it was something like that.
How is Sacred Cavern?
Yeah. It looks like it survived, but we have a bigger problem now. I told Sister Bikini all about it. About the 5 locks that were stopping us from getting inside the Sacred Cavern, and how she should probably go over there and help so they can get it done in half a day instead of a single day.
Who could have done that? The only people who know how to set those trick locks are those of the Curain tradition.
We have Iris at the Sacred Temple Cavern, trying her best to open them for us right now. Actually, there's something I've meaning to talk to you about, Sister Bikini.
Oh yes. We were in the middle of a chat, weren't we?
Yeah, you were telling me about how the Master of Curain disappeared 17 years ago. I want to know why Misty Face suddenly appeared at this temple.
It was about a week ago when Mystic Misty arrived. After she showed me the talisman to prove she was the master, she said, "Someone is trying to destroy the Curain tradition's main family line. I'm here to put a stop to them."
Someone was trying to destroy the main family line?
There's only one heir to the title of master at any time, and it's usually the eldest. That child becomes the new master of the Curain, and with it, and her daughters, the main family. All the other mediums become branch family members with no hope of controlling the clan. That's why nothing has changed throughout the history of the clan. Branch families always have and always will plot to erase those in the main family line.
Is the power of the master worth this much bloodshed? Brain channeling technique.
You believe in the technique, don't you, Mr. Wright? You know its power is real.
Yes, I do. It's been 2 years since I first met Maya. In that time, I've seen her channel spirits of the dead plenty of times. During the Mask case, and during Maggie Bird's trial, too.
Phoenix, stop calling on me. I need my sleep.
I'm supposed to be dead, Phoenix.
Thanks to Maya, Mia's always on hand to help me out when I need her the most.
I have other things to do in the afterlife, Phoenix.
Okay.
The Kurain technique has made a huge difference to the world, you know? I mean, the ability to commune with the dead. That's true psychic power, you know? Members of the tradition have always been there, behind every important leader. Who wouldn't respect a tremendous skill?
I suppose so, but wait, does that mean I'm a tremendous leader because I always have spirit mediums following me around channeling dead people? With all that power and influence, I kind of expected you to be really rich by now.
You say we're poor, Mr. Wright? Whoa! You're very direct, aren't you? People don't believe in it anymore, you see? All because of one little mistake.
A mistake? What mistake? I didn't watch the first movie or play the first game.
It was 17 years ago. That's when everything came crashing down. All because of that incident.
That incident? Is she talking about what I think she is?
I'm sure the records still exist if you're interested. Locked up, of course. It was called the DL6 incident. That's the name of the file. You should watch the movie. It'll just explain it faster.
DL6 incident? I knew it. DL6 incident. I know it well.
Canadian parrot? I'm not trying to do a Canadian voice.
I handled a related case just 2 years ago.
Ah, that's right. So it was you who was the defense attorney on that case.
A murder that took place 17 years ago.
It was the first time in the country's history the police ever used a spirit medium. The idea was to channel the victim's spirit to learn the identity of the murderer.
And the medium who performed the channeling was Misty Faye, Maya's mother.
Through Mystic Misty's channeling, the name of a certain man surfaced. Armed with that as evidence, the investigators were spurred into action. But that man,
he was found not guilty, wasn't he?
Yeah, Yanni Yogi. He didn't actually do it.
that's right, he was.
Thanks to me, kind of. He was trying to get revenge, so yeah.
And the case remained a mystery.
Oh yeah. He was found not guilty. And then we also found him not guilty, but he was like blaming Edgeworth for his life being ruined. Anyway.
In other words, we failed. It was the first case the world had ever seen the Kurain tradition openly involved in.
Thanks to Mamma Mia. Okay, yeah.
It was all over the media, the public, the judiciary, the people of the Kurain village. Everyone judged her. Everyone said Mystic Misty's powers were a sham. And then she just disappeared, vanished, while everyone still thought of her as a fraud.
But I know the truth. Misty Faye's spirit channeling wasn't a sham at all.
Of course it wasn't. And since she managed to reveal the truth, we're finally making a comeback. The Kurain tradition is starting to recover at last. And yet, for some reason, won't be much of a focus for the next 2 games. But anyway, but with the new master wielding the power of the clan...
Does she mean Maya?
Family Feud.
Spiritual power of the Kurain channeling technique is in the blood.
Maya told me the exact same thing before.
We, as women of the Fae clan, have always been spirit mediums. It's because the power to communicate with spirits flows strongly through us.
Did Misty become fat and got a new alias? Is she actually Misty but fat? No. Misty is right here. Real name, Misty Faye, Maya's mother and master of the Kurain channeling technique. She's the one that died. She's the one that was killed in this case. And we're finding out that since Maya is the next in line, the Branch family is after her.
According to Maya, only the women in the family can inherit that power.
I don't know how you missed that. I said it at the beginning and they went over it already once.
Main family bloodline stems directly from Mystic Ami or Amy. Ami if you watch the anime, Amy if you're a normal freaking person. But with each new generation, only one daughter becomes the new master.
And the ones who don't become branch families, right?
That's right. And it's always the cause of tragedy.
You know, Maya had a sister too, an older sister named Mia.
Oh yes, I've heard of her.
What? You know about Mia? So, I think you fell asleep near the end of the last case, but that's when they revealed it, last time we talked to Bikini. You were saying, like, doesn't Bikini have a secret or something like that before? That's because I think you fell asleep before we broke her locks and she talked about Misty.
Of course, she became a lawyer in hopes of discovering what happened to her mother.
Oh, that's why she became a lawyer? She became a lawyer in hopes of discovering what happened to her mother, so she could, like, gain access to... Well, she shouldn't have been a defense attorney, she should have been a prosecutor, so she could have access to police stuff. Especially since the police were the ones that hired her. Dang it, Mia, your plan was dumb. This should be Ace Prosecutor. Phoenix Wright. Anyway. And lost her life as a result, although not really directly related to this. I thought both got access to the police files, though. We only got access because Gumshoe helps us. Pretty much.
You know what Mystic Mia is rumored to have said? She said it wasn't only because of her mother that she became a lawyer. She also didn't want to fight with her sister over the leadership of the tradition.
Really?
Well, she saw what happened to her own mother, Mystic Misty, as she grew up. I guess Mystic Mia got tired of seeing all the rivalry between her and her aunt.
That's right. Misty Faye had an elder sister, too. And Misty, having superior powers, managed to usurp the master's seat from her.
Mystic Misty's sister is Mystic Morgan, as you probably know.
Morgan? There's a name I know well. It was a year ago now at Maya's home, Curane Village. What she did was terrible. It was also she could make her own daughter the next master. Yeah, I told you they'd mention Morgan again.
I suppose if you know about Mystic Morgan's daughter, then you must already realize that Iris...
Huh? Iris? What has Iris got to do with any of this?
That Iris is Mystic Morgan's daughter.
She's Pearl's sister. What? Iris is what? Is she kidding me? Iris is Morgan Faye's daughter? Morgan and Iris. Did you just say that Iris is Morgan Faye's daughter?
Oops, I thought you already knew. It sounded like you met one of the Mystic Morgan's daughters already.
I just never asked Pearl if she had sisters. I don't know. I have. I know her very well.
Oh?
Yes, Pearl Faye. But I always thought she was an only child.
You jest! That child, she's Mystic Morgan's... I had no idea.
Yeah, she didn't know that Pearl was related.
Mystic Morgan? She's in prison now, isn't she?
Yes, ever since she was found to be a co-conspirator in a murder case last year. I got her good. That'll show her.
Mr. Nick, where's my mother? Mr. Nick.
Oh, sorry. She's not dead. This is just a flashback. It was all done to set Pearls up as the next master. Now I take care of Pearls instead of her mother. Kinda weird. How did Maya never bring this up? I know, right?
I see, so I've been wrong all this time. Mystic Morgan had 3 daughters, not 2.
Wait, what? 3?
Yes, Iris, her twin sister, and Mystic Pearl.
What? Twin sister?
Oh, didn't you know? That all happened 20 years ago. After the clan leadership was taken from her by her sister, Mystic Morgan's life crumbled.
Yep, you guessed it earlier. Iris is a twin.
It wasn't many years later that Curane's reputation hit an all-time low.
Dahlia is a twin. Yep, you guessed that like a while back. Iris is a twin.
Mystic Morgan's husband realized his wife would never become the master. He left her and the village, taking their twin daughters with him.
So she doesn't have control of the twins, but the husband did, which is like, remember how they said like the husbands always leave, and that's why Pearl was like,
Mr. Nick, you love Mystic Maya. You do. I swear you do, Mr. Nick.
it's because her dad left and took the sisters with her, and that's like a common theme in their village. How awful.
He was a jeweler, you know. In the end, he remarried, and that's when it happened. He decided to give one of his girls up to be looked after here by us at the temple. That was Iris, you see.
It's unbelievable. If Iris has a twin sister, could it be? Why is that a common theme? I think Maya told us that the reason why Pearl is so like attached to them like having a relationship is because all the men of the village leave because they basically can't have any power in the village ever, because only the women have the ability to channel. So oftentimes the husbands leave. And it happened to Pearl's family. Could you tell me one more thing, Sister Bikini, since you're doing the best exposition dump of the whole series right now? What was the name of Iris' sister?
I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I just can't remember. All I can recall is that her father was a jeweler.
Well, that's a clue, I guess. A jeweler, and looks just like her. Weird how I can't think of her. Thank you very much. You'll clear up a lot of details. Kinda reminds me of this girl I dated. What? I can't remember her name, though. Girls had 2 older sisters, huh?
Yes, that's right. No doubt it was all because of Mystic Morgan's anger towards the main family.
Anger? What do you mean?
Her twin daughters were taken from her by her jeweler husband. But even that couldn't destroy her dream that a child of hers would one day lead the clan.
That's why she had pearls.
Seems that the incident here is a result of Mystic Morgan's anger. It was able to break free of the bars that confine her.
So Iris has a twin sister. The plot thickens. Dun dun dun. Why am I thinking this? But this information will be useless unless I can flesh it out a bit. I need to ask more questions and get some more info. Thanks, lady. Literally the most useful character. Somehow. Hey, pal, I've been with you the whole time. I'm pretty useful. Sounds like someone's happy. What tune is that they're humming? Da 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 da. No motive, no crime. No motive, no crime. Sing it with me. No motive, no crime. I remember when we used to sort in the channeling room in QA. Whoops, I love my job. Who cares if the clues I find are no good? That's not what investigating is all about. Investigating for the love of investigating. It's a passion, pal. Good cases we have, good cases we've lost along the way. I would have never guessed that Gumshoe was into reggae. That's apparently what I'm supposed to be singing. Every case is gonna be airtight. Every case is gonna be airtight. I'm gone, cause I'm an investigator man. Investigating to evermore. Hey, pal. What? Who, me? How long have you been here? I just got here. Oh, okay. So what are you up to, detective? I'm investigating, pal. Yeah, he had like a different theme for his little song thing, but there's his theme. I mean, a promise to Edgewood. I promised I would find a real murder weapon. The real murder weapon? That Bob Sword thing turned out to be a false lead, right? Giving it my best shot here, but I still haven't turned up any clues. I just found these weird scraps of paper. Looks like a letter or something. It doesn't seem to have anything to do with the case, though. A letter? Give me that letter! So how's the investigation going, Detective Gumshoe? I know I love his theme. I don't know if I should be telling you, pal, but I guess it can't hurt. It looks like the murder took place in the inner temple garden. And they're still taking that bloody whiting off the lantern pretty seriously back at HQ. What? You mean
don't have the details, pal. All I know is if you don't find Maya down that sacred cavern, we're gonna be faced with one ugly situation.
What kind of ugly situation are we looking at here?
You got me, I don't know.
They're not my words, pal.
Then who said it?
Mr. Godot.
Godot? What did he mean by that? About that letter you found.
Oh, I mean, pal. Bustin' a gut here trying to find a mortal weapon, and all I find is some burnt-up old letter.
Burnt up old letter?
Yeah, I was in that incinerator right outside the inner temple.
The incinerator? Those things never seem to work quite right in this series. I knew it! I knew I wasn't imagining it. There was snow on the incinerator when I first saw it. But after the incident, the snow had melted away. Which means someone used the incinerator on the night of the murder.
What's up with you, pal? I got it right here if you want to take a look.
Can I? Do you mind?
Sure, go nuts. I don't want it, pal. You can have it. It's all spirit mediums and masters and stuff. I bet it's got no relation to this case.
Spirit mediums? Burnt letter added to the court record. Found by Gumshoe in the inner temple incinerator. It's gotta be important if it mentions spirit mediums and masters. I better give it a good looking over and some serious thought.
Make sure you chuck it in the trash when you're done. We're doing some quiet, pal.
So what do you know about the real murder weapon so far?
Well, it wasn't the 7-point sword that was found impaled in the victim's body. Oh, Mr. Edgeworth proved that in court today.
Yes, that's true.
Which case, it must have been another blade.
And that's what you're running around like a headless chicken looking for now, huh? That's what you're running around like a headless chicken looking for now, huh?
Yeah. And man, is it tiring work. Let me tell you something, pal. I'm no chicken. We got the federal forensics in our cap these days. We're using the department's secret weapon on this.
Secret weapon?
The secret weapon.
What's the secret weapon of yours?
Wanna know? You gotta think scientifically, okay?
Alright. Is it Emma, the science girl?
Mortal weapon was a sword. Swords are, scientifically speaking, made of metal, right? Any questions so far?
No. I know what he's gonna say, but I'll let him look smart.
So it's a perfect tool for the job. Ta-da! A metal detector.
Raise your hand if you didn't see this coming from a mile away.
Remember case 4 with the DO6 incident? You were walking around with a metal detector. Oh, it's so funny. And then you found a bullet in the guy's shoulder. Well, you want to give a scientific investigation a go?
Huh? Me?
I've been using this thing for hours now. It gets pretty boring after a while. Why don't you give it a try?
I don't know. Should I help Detective Gumshoe out or not? Play forensics expert. Phoenix Wright, forensic expert.
Come on, pal. It's good fun, I'm telling you.
Alright then. I guess I'll give it a go.
Like I said, this is the department's most advanced gadget. At the absolute best.
It's so sensitive, you could make it cry. It's so high-tech, you could skydive off it. Oh, bother.
What? So, I'm gonna tell you how to use it. It's possible to wield mortal weapons while you're somewhere, right?
Sure, that's what we're trying to find out.
Wait, so first, let's turn the metal detector on. Click the on switch right there. That's the sound of the metal detector signal bouncing off something metallic. Next, move the detector around in this courtyard and give it a good looky-see, pal. Don't worry, this baby will let you know when you hit something metallic. And when that happens, press the A button to give the area a good hard stare. This thing picks up metallic objects that are hidden from sight, too. It can go look at anything and everything that seems suspicious, okay, pal? I like things that go ping. Remember that time I made that bug finder? That sister next to the gold statue wasn't the real motor weapon, pal.
Yeah, I know. I just thought I'd check it anyway.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. Do you know about that sword? It's supposed to represent the multiple branches that life can take, all ending as one.
Yes, I heard something about that.
You know what I think about sometimes? What kind of life would I be leading her not join the homicide division?
You think about that kind of stuff, Detective?
Of course I do. I think about it a lot.
Me as a traffic cop, me as a detention officer, me as a blue badger. There's something to be said about the humor value of Gumshoe as a blue badger. This is Mr. Nim's staff, isn't it?
Scientifically speaking now, usually made of wood.
But the detective's reacting to it.
Yeah, but however you look at it, this thing's made of wood, right?
I don't bother investigating anything unless it looks like it might be metallic. Isn't the whole point of a metal detector to find metal where you can't see it?
It's weird that this thing is causing a racket.
Here, let me take a look at it.
Hey, hands off!
Examining evidence is a job for the...
Ah!
The top is coming off.
Look what you've done! You damaged a really important piece of evidence.
Ah!
Cool. That's the sword. It's inside the staff, so... Oh, this is... Could it be... The mortal weapon?
I never have guessed that there'd be a sword concealed in the victim's staff.
They call this kind of thing a sword king, pal. You want a real gem. Work was just really something else. Thank goodness it wasn't a cane sword. Or else the victim would have stabbed her own foot.
I officially give up on trying to figure out how Gumshoe's mind works. If the real scene of the crime is the inner temple garden, then why was the sword used to kill the victim found in the main hall courtyard? Hey, Gumshoe, who knows about this hidden sword?
No one. Even the police didn't know about this until I discovered it just now.
Well, as they say, there's no team in Gumshoe. It doesn't look like there are any traces of blood on it.
I guess this isn't the mortal weapon, huh?
No, I'm sure someone just wiped it off after the murder.
Yeah, of course. This thing's definitely the mortal weapon. Great job, pal.
Yep, it is. It's about the same length as the Gisto, too. This must be the murder weapon.
Okay, I'm gonna run over to forensics. There's gotta be some traces of blood left, even if most of it's been wiped off. See you later, pal. Every case gonna be airtight. Every case gonna be airtight. I'm going to forensics, man.
Hold it! Wait up, detective.
What is it, pal? I'm a pretty busy guy right now, you know?
You're gonna get that staff analyzed, right? Did someone kill Misty in self-defense? Would you mind holding off for just a while? I actually don't remember exactly how it goes.
What are you talking about, pal?
Please! Just until we find Maya.
Maya? What's that got to do with her?
I don't know, I'm starting to get a really bad feeling in the pit of my stomach.
Oh, how so?
Look, Maya's trapped inside the sacred cavern right now, and, well, we don't even know if she's okay or not. The more evidence and testimony I hear, the more uneasy I feel.
You don't think? Maya's been more...
Please, detective, let's just wait until we can get inside the sacred cavern.
Oh, he doesn't want to find Maya's blood on it. You're looking kind of Viridian now.
Oh yeah, he learned Viridian from Larry.
Okay. Just stop with that face, pal.
One thing, though. Just to have secret quick. Let's keep that between you and me, alright? It's out that we knew about this and didn't say anything. We're finished.
I understand.
This is just a regular one-of-the-mill staff, you got it? Okay, now you take good care of it, pal.
Thank you, detective, and gives it to freaking Phoenix. He was afraid that they would find traces of Maya's blood on the sword, so he's like, no, please, just hold off on evaluating it, because he doesn't want to find out that she's dead.
Don't worry, she'll be fine.
Gumshoe.
You know, there's a place at the base of this mountain that has got some really good pasta.
How about I take you there when you find Maya, huh, pal?
Sure, thanks. Victim staff received from Detective Gumshoe for safekeeping. I can't help but wonder, though, what was Elise and him doing with a staff like this in the first place?
Because I'm an investigator man. Investigator man.
Something, evermore. So I think we can go to Talk to Pearl, talk to Bikini. Oh, that's right, I gotta go back and talk to Edgeworth. Oh, there is food that is ready right now. So I will probably go get that food. And I will probably not eat it with this tie on. I'll be right back. Hey, Edgeworth. Pizza. All right. Let's talk to Edgeworth about that mysterious girl that Phoenix apparently doesn't know. Now he knows. He's just trying to make sure it's her. Hey, Edgeworth. Did you know that Iris had a twin sister?
What? A twin? You can't be serious.
Sister Bikini told me, but the problem is she didn't know the name of this twin.
There was nothing about Iris having a sister in the files I checked.
No, Iris was taken in by the temple when she was really young. Apparently her sister was raised by her father, a jeweler, I think.
The jeweler? Right, I just might know who this twin sister of hers is.
I had a feeling you'd say that. Let me guess. Her name is Dahlia Hawthorne, right?
Yes, exactly.
Please tell me what you know about her, Edgeworth. Please.
It was my first court case 6 years ago. There was a greenhorn, and due to my inexperience, the defendant died.
You're talking about Terry Falls, right?
You know about that case?
You're not the only one who noticed something about Iris and Dahlia Hawthorne. I checked one of Mia's old files from 6 years ago.
Yes, Dahlia was a key witness in that case. Dahlia and Terry Falls conspired together to stage a fake kidnapping 11 years ago. They stole a jewel worth $2 million from Dahlia's father, a jeweler. And 5 years after that, murdered her own sister, Valerie Hawthorne, to keep her from talking.
I'm assuming Valerie was from the next marriage? Because that would mean there would be 4 sisters. Her sister?
Well, her stepsister, actually. They weren't blood related.
Yeah.
Valerie was the only daughter of Dahlia's father's second wife.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, she was died in case 4 when we learned about her dying. Yeah. Yeah. Oh! And this is when she entered my life. The woman who tried to kill me. So after Terry Falls died, what happened to Dahlia? Did you check that out?
Does it really matter? Like I said, Dahlia isn't connected with this case.
Why are you so sure about that?
It's simple. Dahlia Hawthorne is dead.
What?
Well, her metabolic processes are a matter of interest only to historians, so to speak.
Dahlia's death. What do you mean by Dahlia Hawthorne is dead, Edgeworth?
Alright, I must confess that in reading her file, I came to know the murder case you were involved in during your college years. Dahlia Hawthorne was found guilty, thanks to the persistence of Mia Fey.
Mia Fey! Mia Fey! At the time, Dahlia... It's like she was possessed by a demon or something.
It's been almost 5 years since that guilty verdict was handed down. Her sentence was finally carried out. She was executed last month.
Executed?
Now, I'm sure that's a bit of a shock for you, right? And for more reasons than one. But you do understand now, she can't possibly be connected with this case. She's dead. When someone is dead, there is no way to revive them.
There's no way to revive the dead? I wonder. Seems you're not aware of one other connection yet, Edgeworth.
What is that?
It's about Iris and Dahlia Hawthorne's mother.
What's their mother got to do with any of this?
She's Morgan Fey, the spirit medium from a branch family of the Curine channeling technique.
Did you say Curine channeling technique?
Do you know something about it?
No, yes. I know it's connected to that fraudulent spirit medium.
Fraudulent?
Was involved in another nightmare 17 years ago. It's caught up in the middle of a murder investigation. Police didn't have any leads. And they were stumped, and that's when they called her in. She was a very famous spirit medium and the master of the channeling school. Do you know what happened? As a result of her efforts, an innocent man was accused of murder. She and her powers were all fraudulent.
Edgeworth.
Go to the police records room. It's all in there. All you have to do is check it for the DL6 incident case file and you'll know.
Seems like people guilty of murder get the death penalties in this game. Yep. Of course, how could I forget? Edgeworth was the victim in that case. Can you just explain what happened to Miles? Edgeworth. You'll understand someday, said Okaiba. Someday. And then you'll see what the Curine channeling technique is, and then you'll see that the Curine channeling technique is real. Also, haven't you ever looked over at me in court and seen how Maya somehow just turns into a completely different person that you actually faced off against in the past? Literally, all I have to say is like, you know why? You know it failed because she tried to channel somebody who was alive, right? Take that! Night of the crime. I think it's time you told me the truth about what you were doing that night. You said you were in the room at Hasakura Temple the entire time. Do you still claim that to be the truth? Oh wait, no. She didn't try to summon someone who wasn't alive. She tried to summon somebody who didn't know what killed him. So he blamed Yanni Yogi. That's right. I was thinking of Game 6 or something. In Game 6, they have like a channeling technique that allows you to see the person right before they die. Like, you see what they saw right before they die. And then in court, you have to explain basically why what they saw was wrong. That's like the main mechanic of the game. You have to explain things that are just outside their field of vision and like how things could have gone that way without them knowing and stuff like that. Do you still claim that to be the truth?
Yes, that's where I was.
Iris, I believe you're innocent. That's why I want to believe that you're telling me what you're telling me too, but I can't. Because this person saw you somewhere else on the night of the murder. Bikini? I think it was Bikini, right? I'm pretty sure she's the one that told us. Take that! I'm talking about Sister Bikini, of course.
Sister Bikini.
Her testimony in court today was very clear.
That night I was helping an acolyte in her training in the inner temple, but, well, as you can see, my back likes to act up violently, so I left Iris to help the acolyte and returned to the Hazakura temple.
Sister Bikini didn't just see you, she spoke with you. You two talked about Maya's training that night. So you see, Iris, you were at the inner temple on the night of the murder.
That's very impressive, Mr. Wright. The acolyte's actual training was due to start at after 10 o'clock that night. I left the main hall early so I wouldn't be late.
What time was that?
Let me see. It takes about 20 minutes to walk between the main hall and the inner temple. So I would have left at about 9:40 p.m., I think.
I'm sorry, Iris, but lying just doesn't suit you.
Huh?
Now, you say you left the main hall at 9:40 p.m., but what doesn't add up is this! Or what you say doesn't add up with this. Oh, weird. The game music got set to max. Usually it's like that. Somehow it just randomly, I swear, OBS just randomly does stuff whenever you like turn it off. You yourself testified to the contrary, don't you remember? You said you rang the lights out bell at 10 o'clock that night. Plus, only moments before you rang that bell, you were seen at the main hall by the most reliable witness I have.
Who's that?
Me!
Mr. Wright.
We even spoke a little that evening. That's when you gave me this. Surely you haven't forgotten.
No, that's right, I remember.
And that brings us to another puzzling fact, Iris. At 10 o'clock on the night of the murder, you were seen in 2 different places at the same time. It's time you told me exactly what's been going on, Iris. So far, I've managed to prove 2 things. First, on the night of the incident, you were at the inner temple, and on the second, at the exact same time, you were ringing the bell at Hazakura Temple. There's only one possible explanation for this apparent impossibility. On the night of the incident, you were seen in 2 different places at the same time. Which means there must have been 2 of you. I can't think of any other explanation, Iris.
But that's crazy. How could that be? There's only one of me. It's impossible.
Impossible? I wonder. The way you're trembling certainly seems to suggest otherwise.
Seriously trying to suggest there's more than one of me? Then show me the evidence. Show me something that proves that there's more than one of me.
I have a firm grasp on the situation now, Iris. You have a sister, don't you? A twin sister, perhaps? That's right. Dahlia Hawthorne, a woman I know only too well.
Had no idea you knew of her. Very impressive, Mr. Wright. But she's no longer.
Yes, I know. Her sentence was carried out recently, wasn't it? I'm sorry.
Thank you.
There's no need to explain now, is there, Iris? The second you who was here at the temple on the night of the murder. It was your twin sister, Dahlia Hawthorne.
But you just said it yourself a second ago. My sister's dead. Have you forgotten that?
Have you forgotten this, Iris? This is a channeling dojo, a training ground of the Kurain channeling technique. That night, someone channeled Dahlia's spirit, and you knew about it. And that's the secret you've been trying to hide from me.
I was in my room at the main hall that night. As soon as I heard that I'd been spotted at the inner temple, I knew. I knew it was my sister, Dahlia, the other half of me who passed away last month.
Just as I suspected. The Iris that Sister Bikini saw at the inner temple on that night of the murder. It was Dahlia Hawthorne. Why didn't you tell me this before?
Because my sister always does the right thing.
Excuse me?
And because I mustn't get in the way of what she's trying to do. I already betrayed her once before. I can't do it again.
You betrayed her? What do you mean?
That's why I have to accept that I may be found guilty. It's the only way.
What is she talking about? Betrayal.
You know about it, don't you, Mr. Wright? About the fake kidnapping that took place here on the Eagle Mountain 11 years ago. That was
the start of Blake karate chopping his plate. Alright, off the desk. Sorry.
That was the start of it all. It was the start of her... It's what started her down that twisted path.
Why can't I read?
She started to commit crime after crime, and in the end, she lost her life. It's all because I betrayed her.
How did you betray her, Iris?
It was no coincidence that Eagle Mountain is where the exchange was to take place. After all, I helped plan the whole thing.
What?
But I got scared, so I ran away.
What are you talking about? Why would you help her? Stealing $2 million from your own father, that's awful.
But I promised that I'd help. And she didn't do it for the money.
Huh?
It was for revenge on our father.
Revenge? What do you mean by revenge?
He was a hideous man. He threw away our mother and then sent her to hell.
Her mother? She must be talking about Morgan Fay.
Her mother was the eldest daughter of the main branch of the Fay family. The main family had a lot of influence on many business. Had a lot of influence in many business and political circles at the time. As the eldest daughter, our mother was set to inherit all of that as the next master. That's the reason our father married our mother in the first place, for power. His plan backfired. Because our mother's sister took it all from her, she took over as the master of the Kurain.
That would be Misty Fay, Maya's mother.
But before long, the credibility of the Kurain tradition hit rock bottom. The new master, Mystic Misty Fay, made a terrible mistake. It was all during the investigation of the DL6 incident. Personally, I blame Yanni Yogi for being a wimp. After that happened, our father took me and my twin sister away, leaving our mother and our home behind. He hated the place. He said it was a hick dive and that he had no reason to stay there.
And that's why you came here to Hazakura Temple?
Yes, the woman my father took as his next wife already had a daughter, Valerie. I had no place in his new family, you see.
Oh.
And I haven't seen my mother since then. Having the master's seat stolen from her and being rejected by her own family. I've heard she's been very battered spiritually and emotionally.
And I think I'm finally beginning to see how the pieces fit together. I have asked her everything I can in my capacity as a prosecutor. This incident, everything related to it goes back to the history of the Fae clan.
You better have played game 1 and 2, is all I'm saying.
That's what it looks like. Iris, there's just one more thing I want you to tell me.
What is it?
She's been there. She's watching over her. They can't leave her alone because she's suspected of murder. During the incident in which your sister, Dahlia Hawthorne, poisoned a lawyer, she began a relationship with a certain college student in order to hide the evidence. That college student, have you heard anything about him?
Well, I did hear one thing. She said she hated his guts.
I see. Thank you for your help.
You're welcome.
Hurry up, Phoenix Wright. There is still much to investigate.
Leave these locks to me. I'll open them for you, I promise.
Thank you. I suppose I'd better continue my investigation. There's still one giant secret left to unlock. Pearl's Psych Lock.
Don't ask me, Mr. Nick. I'm just a child. I don't know how to psych lock anything.
Look at that! They really did make a fire right in front of the shack!
Oh, Mr. Nick.
You're too late, Nick! If you came here for one of our potatoes, we already polished them all off!
I think I pretty much got all the evidence I need. Now I just need to find out what Pearls is hiding. I love Pearl's voice, it's great. It's great. Night of the crime. After dinner on the night of the murder, you were supposed to be in Elisa Nim's room reading a book together, correct?
Yes, I was so happy when she invited me. But I didn't go in the end.
You didn't go?
No, there was somewhere else I had to go instead. I was so worried I had to go. I didn't know what to do with myself. I was so nervous.
So Pearls never went to Mr. Nim's room because she was too worried about something or someone else. Pearls? And the night of the murder, you went to this place, didn't you? Inner Temple, right? You went here, didn't you, Pearls? Looks like she's still not going to open up to me. This is where you went because you were so worried, right? Then the next question is, who or what were you so worried about? Now I'm going to take a guess, and you can tell me I'm right or wrong.
You mean you know?
You're going to find out. Hold on. You might be right, though. Just saying. If I'm right, will you tell me the whole truth?
Okay.
You went to this place for a very simple reason. And here's what it is. Maya. It's obvious what you were so worried about, Pearls. It was Maya, wasn't it? You knew the training Maya was undertaking was dangerous. After all, it was a special course.
I signed up for a special course. Well, my. Brave of you considering how cold it is. Young people can be so reckless with their health. Don't blame me if you become one with those you channel. Wahaha, wahaha.
No. Maya's stuck in a thing. Sister Bikini scared you with what she said, didn't she? And because it was you who introduced Hazakura Temple to Maya in the first place, you felt responsible, didn't you?
Thinking about what could happen to Mystic Maya made me more and more worried. I couldn't sit still at all.
I'm pretty sure it was Pearls.
That's why I decided to go and find out how she was doing at the Inner Temple.
So, we're clear now that you went to the Inner Temple that night, Pearls. What's not clear is what happened after all. But what time was it when you headed over to the Inner Temple? It could have been Elisa Nim who did it.
It was probably around 9:30 when I left the main hall. I heard the real training was supposed to start at 10. I wanted to get there before it started, but there was so much snow I didn't get there until after 10 o'clock.
After 10? How did you know what time it was?
Because I heard the bell ringing for lights out.
She heard the lights out bell? Hazakura Temple's bell's pretty small though, isn't it? You must have really good hearing.
I was really trying to pick up the sound of that bell, that's all. I didn't want to miss it. That would be terrible.
She was trying to hear the bell? Tell me, Pearls. Why were you so worried about hearing that bell? Because the training starts at 10, dude.
Huh? Oh,
I think I know why. The reason you were so worried about that bell is because of this. Oh, right. We forgot to look at the letter. Be careful. Once night falls, should be there. As soon as you hear the lights out bell, you must channel her spirit. Leave everything up to her. Her name is... She is our ally. Here's a picture of her. Use it when you channel her. I know you can do it. Once this is burned, also make... Not tell anybody about this letter. Gravely roast the master in the fires of Hades and bring our vengeance to fruition. That's what she was reading. Only the whole thing. You were given some instructions to follow for that night, weren't you? I presume you recognize these pieces of paper?
Where did you?
In the incinerator at the inner temple. Pearls? You were following the instructions in this letter that night, weren't you? That's why you couldn't afford to miss the sound of the lights out bell.
I'm speechless, Mr. Nick. You're amazing.
These instructions that were found in the incinerator, I believe they were written for you, Pearls.
For me? No.
As you can see, a large portion has been burnt, but the last section is still fairly legible. As soon as you hear the lights out bell, you must channel her spirit. Who was it, Pearls? Whose spirit were you supposed to be channeling? Taking into account the author of the note and the purpose for writing it, whose spirit would Pearls have been trying to channel? Don't overthink it, Phoenix. Pretty obvious who Pearls was supposed to channel. The person you were trying to channel that night, Pearls, was... Dahlia Hawthorne. It was Dahlia Hawthorne, wasn't it? That was the name that was in the letter. It's just as I suspected. It wasn't Iris whose sister Bikini met at the Inner Temple that night. It was Dahlia Hawthorne. Do you know anything about her, Pearls? Do you know what kind of a woman Dahlia Hawthorne was?
No. I've never heard of anyone by that name before reading those instructions.
I thought so. Pearls doesn't have a clue. She doesn't know that Dahlia is her sister. Oh. About the instructions in the letter I found, Pearls, she didn't know she had sisters. That's why she never mentioned it, I guess. Who wrote them? Whoever it was asked you to channel the spirit of someone you'd never heard of. You must have had quite a lot of respect for them. After all, you followed their instructions without question. So here's my next question. Who wrote this set of instructions for you to follow? Morgan Fay. Pearls, I have to wonder about something. You didn't have any idea what these instructions meant, did you?
But
you followed them to the letter regardless. Why? Because it was your own mother who asked you, that's why.
How did you?
I figured it out. The person who wrote this letter was your own mother, Morgan Fay.
What?
Alright, Pearls, it's time you started telling me the truth.
Mr. Nick,
Why is she holding back from me? I don't like this.
Don't underestimate me just because I'm a child.
Huh?
If you're trying to say I followed these instructions, I'd like to see some proof.
What?
Because I don't think you have any.
She wrote a letter from jail. She'd say anything rather than just admit carrying out those instructions. Guess I'll have to produce some more evidence then. One more thing should do it. This part's funny. Alright, Pearls, we both know someone carried out these instructions on the night of the murder. But you're right, there's no evidence that proves it was you.
I knew it.
However, I do know whoever did it was a child.
Huh? How do you know that?
It couldn't have been any adult. No adult would have made a simple mistake like that.
A simple mistake? What do you mean by that?
I'm sure you thought you were carefully following the instructions you'd be given, But you misunderstood some of the words, and this is the evidence that proves it. I freaking love this. It was you who splattered gravy on this hanging scroll, wasn't it?
Why would I do something like that?
Do you remember what was written in that letter? Gravely roast the master in the fires of Hades and bring our vengeance to fruition. But you didn't know how to read the words gravely and roast among others, right?
How do you know that?
Remember the conversation you had with Mr. Nim on the night of the murder?
Perhaps we can read some books together.
Really? I'd love to. I'm not very good at reading.
Well then, would you like to practice reading with me?
Miss Elise. So for example, how do you read this?
It says gravely. It's kind of a tough word.
I don't know. I just don't remember what I did. She has like 5 lines before she dies. I don't know. Sure, Mr. Nim taught you how to read gravely and roast, but what she didn't teach you is what they meant.
Gravely sounds like gravy to me, and the only roast I could think of was the food.
And that's why you did it. And that's why you covered the picture of the master in gravy from that night's pot roast.
To be honest, I did think it was a bit strange. I guess I really did get the wrong idea.
Just a tiny bit.
I really am useless. I couldn't even burn the letter properly, as my mother had asked of me. I'm as bad as Larry.
Whoa, don't go that far. Don't go that far.
Such a simple thing, and I couldn't even do it right. After dinner that night, I did go to the inner temple, with a pot full of leftover gravy.
The gravy?
I saw the picture on the hanging scroll near the sacred cavern. I was sure it was the master of Kirain like it said in the letter.
I see. And then?
Well, it was already way past 10 when I got there because of all the snow. So I went to the inner temple, a guest area.
The guest area?
Yes, I thought I could wait there until the training was over.
Why didn't you just go to the training hall?
Because Mystic Maya's training had already started and I couldn't interrupt it. So I just stayed where I was and prayed for her to get through it. But then,
Pearls, did you fall asleep?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I just couldn't help it.
Hey, don't worry about it, Pearl. Who cares if you fell asleep? I fell asleep waiting for Iris too. It happens.
Anyway, then you found yourself trapped at the inner temple?
Yes, when I woke up, it was morning. I tried not to cry, but Dusky Bridge wasn't there anymore, and there was no one in the training hall. I thought everyone had left me because I overslept. I threw the letter into the incinerator, then I heated up the leftover gravy and
let off some steam by chucking the gravy on the scroll while you cried?
Must have been pretty scary for you, Pearl. I know what it's like. Nick used to leave me behind when I fell asleep at school, too.
Don't equate something so trivial with her experience, Larry. Lost powers.
It was written right in my mother's letter. It said as soon as you hear the lights out bell, you must channel her spirit. I was on my way over to the inner temple when I heard the bell ring.
So you channeled Dahlia Hawthorne's spirit?
No. I tried, but I couldn't do it.
You couldn't do it?
I never failed at channeling someone. This is the first time it's happened.
By the way, in the 6th game, they say that channeling fails most of the time and only works about 20% of the time. If I remember correctly, which is completely ridiculous because this game exists. I don't know why they ever said that. It makes no sense.
I tried, and I tried, and I tried. Yesterday, this morning, the whole time. But I just couldn't do it.
Don't let it get you down, Pearl. It'll all work out. If you want, I'll come flying through the sky for you. Whoosh, just like that.
So she never managed to channel the spirit. Is that why you think your spiritual powers are gone?
Yes, I don't know what to do.
Isn't there any other explanation for why you couldn't channel a spirit?
I suppose there's one other possibility. It's not very likely, though.
You'd think success rates would be more common than not considering this game. Yeah, because, like, Mia will just, like, appear when they're, like, not even trying to channel her, it seems like. So, I don't know. Could you please tell me what it is anyway?
It could happen if someone else was already channeling the same spirit.
Someone else? What do you mean?
Well, there's only one of each spirit, right?
Yep, it's like dating a girl, Nick. You can't see a hot chick if she's already taken.
Then that would mean on the night of the murder, someone else channeled her spirit before Pearls could. Someone else channeled the spirit of Dahlia Hawthorne.
I'm a failure. I couldn't even grant my mother's final wish.
Her final wish?
Yes, this letter. This is my last wish, she said. So make sure you follow the instructions carefully.
This letter. I definitely need to find out more about it.
My mother had gone to a place called a penitentiary.
Yeah, I know, Pearls.
I visit her every month. And last month she told me.
Was it Bikini? It was probably Iris? Or Maya? Channeling her so she was stuck in the cage so she couldn't be channeled again, maybe? I don't remember. Time has come. The time we've been waiting for has come, Pearl. There's something I need you to do for me. I hid a letter for you in our home before they brought me here. I want you to read it and to do exactly what it says. It's for the good of the Fae clan, my angel. You'll be doing a great thing. Now listen carefully, and I'll tell you where the letter's hidden.
And then I went on a scavenger hunt. My mother is so nice to me. I love her very much.
Yeah, moms will do anything for the kids, right?
She said it was for the good of the Fae clan, so I knew I had to help her.
Remember, she couldn't be at two places at once. Yeah, that's why maybe Maya was channeling her so that she couldn't be rechanneled by somebody else. I honestly can't remember. That might be it, though.
I mean, Mystic Misty, Maya's part of the Fae clan, so it had to be good for her too. That's right, isn't it, Mr. Nick?
I guess so, yeah.
Why do you have psycho locks when you say that, Nick? But anyway, there was a picture of her letter too. A picture with her letter too.
The picture?
Of Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. Usually a picture is enough to channel someone's spirit, but this time...
Pretty weird, huh?
Oh, but... You know what? When Iris escaped, she probably channeled Dahlia. And then Dahlia put the locks on there. And then Pearl tried to channel her and couldn't do it. Maybe that's what it is? Because somebody had to put those locks on there, right?
Pretty weird, huh?
Like Larry knows anything about this stuff.
There's something else that was strange about my mother's letter. The seal on it was broken, as if someone had already opened it once before.
I don't remember that.
That sure is pretty strange.
Someone had opened it already. Current letter updated. Thanks, Pearls. You really helped me out.
You're very welcome. I'm helping everyone these days. My mother is watching over us. I'm sure she blesses you, Mr. Nick.
No, that's okay. No, thanks.
I'm sure Mystic Maya will be alright, and I'm sure this Dahlia person is also blessing you, Mr. Nick.
No. Look at that innocent smile on her face. What am I supposed to say to her? Huh?
Ah. Finally figured it out, have you tried? You've finally realized how terrible of a crime being painfully oblivious is.
Godot!
The entrance to the sacred cavern looks like a freaking puzzle workshop.
I guess he's talking about Iris and her lock-breaking effort.
But it's all a waste of time.
Why do you say that?
Because Maya Fey isn't coming back.
What? You don't know what you're talking about. How can you say something like that?
It was your job to protect her, Trite. Just like it was your job to protect Mia Fey. Two sisters caught up in the worst circumstances.
I realize that, but...
And you were the only one who was by their sides. You were the only one who could have saved them.
But I didn't know anything about what was going on.
Ha! What did I just say, Trite? Being oblivious is a heinous crime in itself. Tomorrow. We'll settle everything in court tomorrow. Once and for all.
Mr. Nick, who was that masked man? Is what that man just said true?
Oh, he said it in earshot of Pearl. He's like,
Maya's dead, haha.
and she's like, right there. It'll be alright, Pearls. I'm sure Maya's alive. You'll see for yourself tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right. I know I can trust you, Mr. Nick.
My dear Pearl. You've done so well, my child, my Pearl. It's better that you don't know what you've done. I knew this day would come for you. The blood of the main family is no more. Now finally, after all this time, the master's seat is yours. My last great wish. It seems I was just in time.
I hope you understand why I like this case so much. I'm gonna get more food, but I'll be right back. So, we are now in the court. Sorry that took me a bit. I like it a lot, probably more than the Deal 6 case. I know, it's so good.
How'd she know to write the letter beforehand? I don't know. Like, how would you ever know? Before you get arrested, you're gonna write this letter for 2 years later. You're gonna have these people meet on a mountain and stuff. Okay, so this court part is pretty freaking long. So we will end sometime during court. But we still have like an hour before I gotta like get ready for bed, so let's do this.
Good morning. Oh, are you by yourself?
Morning, Pearls.
Mr. Nick, please tell me what's going to happen to Mystic Maya.
I'm sorry. We don't know yet. The investigation is still going on, so I wasn't allowed into the inner temple.
Oh, I see. So is Sister Iris still trying to remove the locks in the training hall?
No, she's the defendant in this case, so she can't be at the inner temple. She's required to be here in court.
Then how come she's not here in the defendant's lobby?
I have to admit, it's kind of strange.
If you're looking for Iris, she's in the prosecutor's lobby, is my guess.
Oh, if you're looking for Iris, she's in the prosecutor's lobby.
Edgeworth? What's Iris doing over there?
And she's going over today's testimony with the prosecutors as we speak.
Today's testimony?
You heard me. Iris is going to be testifying as a witness for the prosecution.
Wait, what?
Prosecutor is squeezing her for a confession, or so I heard.
Francisca von Karma, what are you up to?
I know what you're thinking, but Francisca isn't going to be the prosecutor today.
What? Then who is?
Who else would it be but Godot?
Godot?
Francisca is engaged in some important work at the Sacred Cavern.
The Sacred Cavern? You don't mean that she's...
Exactly. She has been out there all night trying to remove those trick locks. With the head nun's assistance, naturally. We estimate that the last of these locks should be taken care of in about 3 hours. I hope everything continues to go smoothly and we receive some good news soon.
Yeah, thanks, Edgeworth.
I know Francisca is probably just whipping the locks repeatedly while Bikini does all the work, but at least she has her heart in it. Prosecutor Godot intends to nail this case shut today. Be prepared to fight like there's no tomorrow.
You don't have to tell me that.
Touché. I can already see it in your eyes. You're not the same fever-ridden, frantic maniac you were yesterday.
It's strange. On the way here, I decided that today would be the end of all of this. Almost immediately after I made that decision, I felt myself getting stronger. I'm gonna go Super Saiyan and
calm down, right? Interesting. Maybe you've passed your cold on to someone else, literally. With that, I leave the rest in your capable hands, partner.
Thanks. I'm not gonna say partner back. I still don't have answers for most of the riddles plaguing this case. The circumstances around the murder of Miss Elise Denim. No, I mean Misty Faye. The impossible flight Larry claims to have seen. And what that woman is really after. Well, we already know what she's really after. Come on, Phoenix. I'll solve them all and bring this whole tragedy to an end.
Court is now in session for the trial of Iris of Hasakura Temple.
Your Honor, what are you...
Who? Me? Well, my little brother came to visit me in my chambers earlier this morning. All of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, he had developed a scorching fever and fainted.
Oh, the judge got a fever in it, and he had to take over.
Therefore, I'll be standing in for him.
I see, Your Honor. Wait!
So they're brothers, that explains a lot, but not the Canadian thing. I love that little bit of lore that he has a brother who's also a judge, but he's like a different nationality somehow, and they just never explore it because why would they? Alright, I'm gonna take a couple more bites and I'll move forward.
My poor brother. He looked a bit pale, not to mention sad that he couldn't be here. He kept talking about his playoff beard, although mine is better. It is impossible to predict what the future has in store for any of us. This is precisely why people feel the need to judge the past. And we of the court have been charged with the solemn duty of passing such judgment. Well said, Mr. Godot. I understood exactly what you said, at least up until the end, anyway. Now then, Mr. Godot, please proceed with your opening statement. Humans are fragile, fickle beings. Our hearts change with the shifting of the tides. There is only one thing that remains a constant in this crazy world. The bitter darkness that lies at the bottom of this mug.
Away from me, you fly. Like a dang fly that's been bugging me. Get away from me! It's been bugging me this whole time.
So then you mean, forget it. What do you mean?
Judge just doesn't know.
During yesterday's trial, the accuser refused to admit her role in the crime. But today, she had a change of heart. Sister Iris of Hosakura Temple has a confession to make. Confession? The defendant?
Iris. Why didn't she discuss this with me first?
Very well. The court will now hear the defendant's confession. Upon meeting a beautiful lady, I always ask her for her name and profession. That's one of my rules.
It's a rule of court.
My name is Iris. I am a simple nun undergoing training I am but a simple nun undergoing training at Hasakura Temple.
Witness, is there something that you want to confess to?
Yes, but first I want to apologize to Mr. Wright. I can't continue lying to everyone anymore.
It's alright, what is it?
Mr. Wright, I have to admit that I did play a part in this terrible incident.
Are you actually confessing? Are you saying that you were the one who murdered Miss Elise Denim?
No, I'm not, Your Honor. But I dealt with the cover-up after the murder took place. After her spirit left, I took the lifeless shell of Mystic Elise and carried it off to Hasakura Temple Courtyard where I desecrated it.
What? Nani? Order in the court. Order. We're getting this out of the way quick. Order. Witness. Now you saying you were an accomplice to the murder?
Yes, that's correct.
What? 3 minutes in court and I'm already covered in a cold sweat.
Ha! Everyone on the planet is an accomplice to something. It just happens to be that in this case it's to murder. Isn't that right, Mr. Trite?
Grr, that Godot. So this is the confession they were conferring about. It pains me to say this, but it looks like Iris's testimony was all a lie. Iris's testimony crumpled up and shoved into a pocket.
Now then, little lady, if you don't mind, I've got a question for you. Whose crime were you trying to cover up by your actions?
Iris was covering for someone. Now I'm definitely up a creek without a paddle or a life jacket.
I've been at Hasakura Temple ever since I was a little girl. Hasakura Temple is run by one of the branch families of the Kurain tradition. One of our missions is to protect the main family.
I'm sorry, but main family.
Yes, and that's why I would dirty myself, if need be, to protect her. The daughter of the master of the Kurain channeling technique, Mystic Maya Fey.
Huh?
Wake up and smell the coffee, try it.
She's naming Maya?
Order. Order in the court. So, not only did you mention the witness, you know the name of the murderer.
Terribly sorry, but it's true. I saw her commit the crime with my very own eyes. And then I cleaned up the area to try and protect her.
That's ridiculous. Maya could never do such a...
The defense will refrain from commenting until the appropriate time. Now, witness, let's hear your testimony. What exactly happened on the night of the crime?
Yes, Your Honor.
I thought I was prepared for the unexpected, but I never imagined the case would wind up going in this direction.
Real murderer.
I went to the inner temple that night and I saw it all happen in the garden. I saw Mystic Elise strike Mystic Maya with their staff. While Mystic Maya was still stumbling, Mystic Elise moved in to deliver a fatal strike. Mystic Maya tried desperately to defend herself and stole the weapon. It was only in self-defense, you can't blame her for it.
So it was in self-defense.
Yes, Mystic Elise was the one who attacked first. That's why I tried my best to protect Mystic Maya.
You moved the victim's body to the temple so that Maya wouldn't be suspected. Isn't that right? Not bad. You've got the instincts of a true criminal.
Something's not quite right. I'm sure it was established yesterday that Iris never went to the inner temple that night. The person who did go was that woman. Iris even admitted it.
Now then, Mr. Wright, please proceed with your cross-examination.
Went to the inner temple that night and saw it all happen in the garden.
Sister Iris, your testimony has changed quite a bit since yesterday. You stated yesterday that on the night of the murder you didn't go to the inner temple.
Objection!
Did she now? Too bad for you. What she said yesterday doesn't mean much today. By the way, where were you when she claimed that she didn't go?
I was in the inner temple's training hall.
A private conversation between the two of you does not constitute testimony.
Francisca was there.
That would be properly described as hearsay.
What do you have to say, witness?
I just couldn't tell him the truth at that time. Mystic Maya, she's your girlfriend, isn't she? I didn't want to be the one to break it to you that I saw her commit murder.
There. We all understand how difficult this is for you. Now then, let's continue with the testimony. What did you witness in the temple garden?
I'm not denying she's my girlfriend, I just want everybody to notice that.
Well, Your Honor.
I saw Mystic Elise strike Mystic Maya with her staff. You're saying that the victim attacked Maya. You mean Miss Faye?
Yes, it was a truly frightening scene. Stigmaya was struck hard on the head and looked like she was going to collapse.
What were you doing at the time?
I was eating popcorn, like that Michael Jackson gif.
Why didn't you stop them from fighting?
I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Wright. I was frightened. I couldn't move. I couldn't even speak. I was in such shock.
That's perfectly understandable, my dear.
This doesn't sound right. I don't believe this testimony for a minute.
What happened after that?
While Miss Stigmaya was still stumbling, Mystic Elise moved in to deliver a fatal strike. She moved in to deliver a fatal strike?
Yes, I'm sure of it. She threw down her staff and reached into her robe for a weapon.
Wait a minute. What was this weapon?
It was some kind of dagger.
A dagger, huh? And Elise Denim tried to stab her with this weapon? To kill Miss Faye?
Yes, exactly.
Huh.
You look like I did after I mistakenly took a swig of Worcestershire sauce. You have a problem with the testimony we're hearing from our client, lawyer boy?
Do I have a problem with Iris's testimony? There's just this one thing. Your Honor, I have a small problem with the witness's testimony.
You do. But this witness is your own client.
Yes, well, nevertheless.
That's fine. Witness, let's add your last statement to the testimony.
Yes, sir.
Hey, just a moment. It's my job to say that. And I don't want to feel left out again. Brother, come back. Listen, Gramps, I won't say it again. Final judgment will be rendered by me. Okay, now, let's continue.
She threw her staff away and pulled a dagger from inside her robe. But why would she do that when she has a sword cane? Objection! Sister Iris. There's something strange about your version of events.
Huh?
Miss Denim throwing her staff away makes no sense at all to me.
But all you can do with this staff is hit someone.
Naturally, you wouldn't know this, Sister Iris, but the victim's staff had a special feature about it. As you can see, it's a sword. If Elise Denim really had wanted to kill Maya Fey, she wouldn't have needed to use a separate dagger. Not when she already had a beautiful blade in her hands already. Well, Sister Iris, what do you have to say?
I'm glad Blake's done with his pizza so he can read his lines.
Objection!
That was an impressive bit of investigating, right? I never would have thought there was a sword hidden in that staff. But even so, how should I put this? A long sword is unwieldy and thus quite ineffective in close quarters combat. Maybe that's why she chose a dagger over her blade.
Well,
Anyway, the type of weapon she chose isn't what's important. The important thing is that she tried to kill Maya Fey. As long as there's nothing strange about that, there's no problem with her testimony.
but there is something strange about this whole testimony.
Well, Mr. Wright, the prosecution has a point.
Very well, Your Honor. The defense will now present evidence to back its argument.
Mr. Wright.
I have here another piece of evidence that shows that this testimony can't be trusted. You suck! Because Miss Elise Denim would never attempt to take the life of Maya Fey. Because I can show that she's the because she's the master of the Kirain. One we're looking for. What does it say? Presenter profile. What? Guess that kind of works. At least Nim would never have attacked Maya Fey.
How can you be so sure?
Because the victim's real name was not Elise to Nim. Her real name was Misty Fey.
Fey.
No, not Misty Fey.
Who is this Misty Fey? Is she related to?
Misty Fey is the master of the Kirain channeling technique. She is also the mother of Maya Fey.
Are you serious? Why didn't anybody tell me?
We're telling you now.
I guess, but I gotta sit down.
You aren't already sitting? I always thought you were sitting up there.
I'm really short.
Is it really true, Mr. Wright? Was Nim actually the great mystic Misty?
There's no doubt about it. It looks like Iris had no idea. What are you saying? Profile. Yeah, because her alias is on it. Yeah, that's true. Mia's laying onto me so hard, too tight. Oh yeah, Nami does that too. She's like, I'm just gonna lay on your arm while you try to use it.
I can hardly believe it.
The idea that she would try to kill her own only daughter, one she hadn't seen in 17 years. Perhaps the prosecution can offer some explanation for why she would do such a thing.
Order in the court. Oh wait, you guys aren't actually talking. Oh, okay. Upon first hearing the witness's testimony, it seemed natural enough. However, in light of some facts that have just been presented, one, that the victim supposedly threw away a sword during a fight, and two, that the two people battling to the death were mother and daughter. Despite the facts being believable when taken on their own, when taken together, the entire story seems difficult to believe.
Listen, there's nothing in this world that is impossible. Except for one little thing.
Yes, what is this one little impossible thing?
Huh! You still don't get it. You think that maybe my beans are under-roasted, but you have no idea, Gramps.
Could you get to your point?
I heard this witness's confession this morning. Just as I had taken my first sip of my 8th cup of morning coffee.
You're going to ruin your health, my friend.
Anyway, after hearing this woman's confession, I had a detective who loves to investigate sent to the scene of the crime. And he discovered this little beauty.
Is that the dagger the witness testified to seeing?
Obviously, Your Honor. But do you not notice something else?
Now that you mention it. If you look closely, there appears to be blood on it.
Where did you find that? I didn't see that when I investigated the crime scene.
Did you investigate the pine tree at the crime scene?
Huh? The pine tree?
Dagger was stuck in the backside of the pine tree, but every time you look at something, you just see it like an image. And the last blow was struck, ending the violent battle between the two women. This little baby was thrown in the direction of the back of the pine tree.
Which means the blood on this dagger belongs to the victim, correct?
Ha! Were you even listening, old man? I first heard this confession this morning, just as I had taken the first sip of my 13th cup of morning coffee.
Didn't you just say it was your 8th a few minutes ago?
I didn't have enough time to get the blood analyzed on such short notice.
In any case, the court will accept the dagger as evidence. Furthermore, I order that the blood test be performed on it immediately.
This is my sweetheart. Make sure you treat her right.
Bailiff, get this piece of evidence to the crime lab for testing immediately.
Yes, sir!
Now then, the testimony we've just heard has numerous unbelievable aspects to it. However, after having found this very dagger the witness spoke of, I believe we can consider her testimony to be credible. Good girls never lie, ever. Except that one time with Dahlia Hawthorne, but we don't count that. In any case, witness, if you could please testify again to this court.
About what, Your Honor?
About the incident you saw, the battle between the two women. I want to hear more.
Yes, Your Honor.
Sorry, I'm ad-libbing a lot for some reason. The battle.
Mystic Maya stumbled briefly after being hit over the head with the staff. But then she dodged Mystic Elise's next attack and stole her weapon. Suddenly, Mystic Elise was the one on the defensive with her back to the stone lantern. That's when Mystic Maya stabbed Mystic Elise. Mystic Elise managed to fling the knife away, but then she collapsed.
That was a very heartbreaking story.
I don't know if there were any bad feelings between them, but it had been 17 years since Mystic Misty Faye's disappearance. Perhaps they simply didn't recognize each other anymore.
That seems reasonable. Two women that don't recognize each other, fighting to the death. I've seen this before. Now then, Mr. Wright, please proceed with your cross-examination.
I can tone down the ad-libbing a bit if you want me to. Mystic Maya stumbled briefly after being hit over the head with the staff. How briefly did she stumble? Oh, sorry. Iris, where were you standing when you witnessed all this?
What do you mean?
Well, if either of them had noticed you, they might not have continued their battle.
I wonder if that's true. If the two of them, they were standing near the Gardenstone lantern. I was watching the whole thing from behind. It was dark where the two of them were, so I think that's why they didn't see me.
So it was dark in the garden when the murder took place. Tell me, what did Miss Maya Fey do after she was struck?
But then she dodged Mystic Elise's next attack and stole her weapon. What happened to the victim's staff then?
I'm not sure. The area was very dark, so I really couldn't see. I think it got knocked away somewhere as the fight escalated.
That makes sense. That would explain the need for the dagger.
Mystic Elise raised the dagger to strike, but Mystic Maya dodged it at the last second. The dagger struck the lantern and fell into the ground, and then at some point Mystic Maya picked it up.
Nothing sounds especially strange yet.
What did the victim do when the weapon was stolen from her?
Suddenly, Mystic Elise was the one on the defensive with her back to the stone lantern. You're saying that Maya Fey turned the tables on the victim?
Yes. But Mystic Maya wasn't herself at the time. After all, her life was in danger.
I still can't believe it. The idea that Maya cornering someone at knife point is just silly. Burgers! Give me burgers! Okay. Yeah? Oh, nice. Combine the two. Alright, well, thank you. That's amazing.
As they say, a cornered fox is more dangerous than a jackal.
I believe the correct description of a cornered fox is scared and petrified.
Your animal analogies have grown tiresome.
What? Godot? What? You were the one who started it.
Anyway, so after Maya Fey backed the victim into the stone lantern, what happened next?
That's when Mystic Maya stabbed Mystic Elise. Dun 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 dun. She didn't get stabbed in the front, she got stabbed in the back. Something about you just isn't right today, Iris. I read it right, but it felt wrong reading that sentence. I don't know why.
Huh?
Until now, I didn't think you were the type to make such a careless mistake. However, the testimony you just gave contains quite a few contradictions.
What do you mean? What's wrong about my testimony?
According to you, Maya face stabbed the victim while she had her back to the stone lantern, correct? I was saying, but I have to leave that. That's fine.
Yes, that's right.
Are you sicky? But in that case, the victim wouldn't have been stabbed in the victim would have been stabbed in the stomach, right? Yeah, that's what I think.
Yes, I think so.
But according to the autopsy report, the cause of death was due to blood loss from a stab wound in her back. This proves that the victim was stabbed from behind, not from the front. Sister Iris, it appears that another seed of doubt has sprouted from your testimony.
What is the meaning of this, Mr. Wright?
It's simple. People are like books. We've all got their front and back, you catch my drift?
Is that all you have to say?
I can also say that darkness loves to play with the human mind. Could you please knock it off with these cheesy proverbs and illogical metaphors already? The point is, too much of the testimony just doesn't make sense. Throwing away useful staff, the people fighting being mother and daughter, and now she falsely claims that the victim was stabbed in the stomach.
There certainly are inconsistencies.
Well, Iris, how about it?
Well, it's just...
If you ask me, you're just being too naive about the whole thing. What do you mean? There are 253 distinct types of bitterness in coffee. But to pick out each one requires total concentration and the use of all the senses. Were you really concentrating on what this witness actually said?
Prosecutor Godot, explain yourself.
The witness is quite unambiguous about her own ambiguities when she said that the garden was dark and she couldn't see clearly. A human needs one thing to see clearly, and that is light.
Light.
By the way, did you know Azakura has a rule that on nights when the acolyte is at the inner training temple, a stone lantern in the garden must be kept lit. I did wonder what that stone lantern was there for.
Well, if that's true, shouldn't the witness have been able to see the crime more clearly?
Normally, yes, Your Honor. But according to the head nun, Sister Bikini, on the night of the crime, it was impossible to light that stone lantern. Impossible? It hadn't been used in a long time and the wick was no good. In other words, it had to have been nearly pitch black in the garden that night. There could have been a faint light coming from the training hall, but that's all.
Most enlightening. Haha, I did it funny.
Yes, that illuminating fact has chased all the contradictions away. If the staff was dropped, it would be difficult to see. It also explains why they didn't recognize each other. We can't see the demons that lurk in the night. That's why humans are weak.
Isn't that right? That's right. We can't see the demons that lurk in the night. Humans are weak, isn't that right? You're referencing that Phoenix couldn't see the people coming from Mia, I'm guessing?
No!
Order!
Here, Your Honor, let me present the stone lantern into evidence. Maybe it will rekindle the flame of truth in your mind.
Stone lantern added to the court record. Was not lit on the night of the crime.
Why is the judge just sitting there with that look on his face? What's wrong, Your Honor? Was that flame too hot?
This lantern. There's something written on it. Why it's written in blood?
Oh boy! So the judge didn't know about that yet. Written in blood?
It says Maya upside down. Whoa, what the?
Oh, yes, that's right. After being cornered and then stabbed by Mystic Maya, Mystic Elise didn't fall down right away. She must have been writing that on the stone lantern behind her, with the blood that was draining out of her body.
It certainly looks that way.
Objection.
Hang on just a minute. What are you all talking about?
What do you mean? What are we all talking about?
We're talking about the message written in blood.
Nonsense. This lantern, it's as clean as a whistle.
Could it be? He can't see the bloody writing at all? Now that I think about it, he did say something to me yesterday. So she knew it was her? They claim they didn't know. Are you saying, so Maya knew it was Elise? They're saying that they couldn't. Glasses? Now that I think about it, he did say something to me yesterday.
My eyesight is pretty messed up. Even with these huge goggles on my head, I still can't see everything.
So that's what he meant by that.
In any case, this obviously is an important clue.
You remember back to the case, the Très Bien case? Remember the dirty apron? It had like coffee on it and it also had a red stain. He couldn't see the red stain either. It was impossible. The two didn't recognize each other. If that was the case, then why did she write Maya's name? Yeah, that's probably going to be like the next contradiction. But yeah, that contradicts it because obviously she knew. Glasses filtered out the red. Yeah, because they're all red, so he doesn't like see red or something. So he didn't see like that red stain on Maggie's thing, apron, which I think was just ketchup. And then there was also something in the second case where that happened too. I noticed this playthrough. He couldn't see some red thing on that second, and the mask to mask case. I can't remember what it was though.
We know that the crime scene was dark.
And it was red too.
And the victim scrawled this message on the stone lantern. Well, Mr. Godot, any further? Mr. Godot.
Okay then, let's move on.
Godot is literally shaking, and somehow I don't think it's from caffeine overdose.
I believe it has now been established that Mr. Nim was killed by Miss Maya Fey.
That's just wrong.
Now it's time to turn our attention to you.
Sir?
After the victim died, you did something, didn't you? Let's hear it. We're all ears.
Yeah, if they didn't recognize each other, then how'd she write that name? Kind of important.
After Mystic Elise died, I called out to Mystic Maya. I thought it was my duty to protect the master of the Curane tradition, so I removed the body from the inner temple by myself. I dragged it behind me all the way across Dusky Bridge, then I used the snowmobile to carry it back to Hazakura Temple and... I used the shisto to alter the way the wound looked.
So you moved the body?
Yes, I was raised at Hazakura Temple. I owe a great deal thanks to the Fey clan, but even so I never imagined that Elise to Nim was actually Misty Fey. I've committed a terrible sin.
A terrible trick of fate.
I believe you're looking for a twist of fate, Your Honor.
I intended to return to the inner temple after taking care of the body, but...
You were spotted by the head nun, correct?
Yes, and that's why I couldn't go back.
Your story makes sense, I suppose. Mr. Wright, go ahead with your cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor. Sister Iris's cover-up. After Mystic Elise died, I called out to Mystic Maya. So you waited until everything was over before making a move?
No, it's not like that.
Objection.
She saw someone murdered right in front of her eyes. It's not surprising that she was a little timid.
Yes, I suppose that's true. Sometimes when I'm watching lawyers argue back and forth with each other,
I feel so helpless that I just sit quietly and wait for them to reach a conclusion.
Isn't that your job as the judge to mediate the argument?
It wasn't until Mystic Maya saw me that it finally dawned on her what she had done.
I thought it was my duty to protect the future master of the Kirain tradition. So then, you knew? You knew the significance of the name Maya Fey?
Yes, of course I did.
That's odd. I mean, Sister Bikini didn't recognize Maya's name, let alone her position.
Anyway, she was a very special person indeed.
So I removed the body from the inner temple all by myself. Why did you do that?
Because I didn't want Mystic Maya to be suspected in any way. I thought the best thing would be to remove the body from the crime scene.
You moved the body all by yourself.
Yes, I did. It would have been impossible if it wasn't for the snow.
The snow, huh? I dragged it behind me all the way across the dusky bridge. It's pretty amazing you could make it all the way across that rickety old bridge.
It's worse than it looks worse than it is. It's surprisingly sturdy despite its age.
It's like they say, idiots are too stupid to catch even a simple cold. But there's one other thing that bothers me. Why not just throw the whole body into the Eagle River? It would have been much easier than dragging it all the way to Hazakura Temple.
I thought that it would still cast too much suspicion on Mystic Maya. That's why I tried to take the body as far away as possible.
Ah, makes perfect sense to me. For the time being. Anyway, what did you do after you crossed the bridge? Then I used the snowmobile to carry it back to the Hazakura Temple and... The snowmobile? I knew that would show up sooner or later.
Yes, I had the key. I used the snowmobile to travel from Hazakura Temple to Dusky Bridge.
This is the part that was in question the other day. Should I ask for more details? About the tracks. If you really did move her body by snowmobile, then there should be tracks left in the snow, right?
Well, yes, naturally you would expect tracks.
The picture was presented at yesterday's trial. Are these the tracks from that ride?
Yes, I think they are.
But I can only see one set of tracks here.
I don't see what's so strange about that. Snow was still falling when I left Hazakura Temple.
I see. Snow was still falling, huh?
And then when the murder took place, it had already stopped. That's why there were such fresh-looking tracks.
How about it, Mr. Wright? What do you think about the testimony?
It's very important. When the murder took place, the snow had already stopped? That doesn't make sense if you stack it up against with the other evidence. Your Honor, I like the statement Iris just made to be added to the testimony.
But does it have something to do with the case?
All will be made clear if you allow her statement to be added to the record, please. Huh, this should be fun. You, let's get this snow business cleared up, shall we?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Use this. So. I dragged it behind me all the way across Dusky Bridge. She's talking about the body. The weather data says she didn't drag it across the thing. You claimed that the snow had already stopped when the murder occurred. But I'm sorry, Iris. That just isn't possible.
What?
This is the weather data from the night of the murder. According to this, the snow didn't stop until 10:50 p.m. But you couldn't have crossed Dusky Bridge at that time.
Why do you say that?
Because 5 minutes before the snow had stopped, I was falling through the broken bridge. Oh, Dusky Bridge was struck by lightning and had caught on fire.
What did you just say? The bridge? It was on fire?
You don't mean to say you didn't know about it. It was because of that lightning strike that the bridge had burned down.
What? But it can't be. It can't be.
It looks like you still haven't figured it out. No matter how hard you try to deceive or conceal the truth, you can't pull the wool over the eyes of a real defense attorney. No! Order, order, order! I just want to point one thing out since we're this far into the series. Phoenix has like confidence in himself now, and he's not relying on Mia. The bridge was already on fire when the incident took place, and he also seems a little bit more smug It seems like it anyway, I don't know. That's right, the inner temple was already totally cut off from the outside world. There's no way you could have crossed the bridge, body or no body. Witness, even my patience has its limit. Any further lying and I will find you in contempt of court. Do you have anything to say for yourself? Yeah, he grows over the 3 games. It's maybe like a bit more subtle than like Edgeworth over the course of like game 1 to game 2 and all the way to now. But he's definitely like more confident and stuff.
Objection.
The only person here that is truly contemptible is you. Old man.
Me? How dare you?
Whether this witness lied or doesn't mean squat right now.
Squat?
The important thing now is to find out the truth. Isn't that right?
Yes, of course, but
Whether it was snowing or not snowing, whether the bridge was burning or not, there are 2 facts that can't be disputed. First, the body of at least Tanim was discovered in Hazakura Temple courtyard. And second, the head nun, Sister Brakini, witnessed Iris desecrating Elise Nim's body.
He makes a good point, on both counts.
That's right, I'm not lying.
what are you claiming this time?
I wasn't myself at all that night, so my memory is still somewhat hazy.
You have stood at that witness stand and testified this entire time. Are you telling us now that your memory of that night is hazy?
Objection.
It is only human to err. If you are still perfect, right, maybe you can explain this to the court.
What is it?
When the murder happened, the bridge was already burned down. But somehow the body traveled across the bridge and was found in Hazakura Temple courtyard. Perhaps you have some kind of perfect explanation for this little magic trick.
Well, not exactly, no. I know there must be some other way to get across that burnt out bridge. Unless I can somehow demonstrate it, we'll never know the truth.
It looks like the defense is not properly prepared to offer a suitable explanation.
You see what I mean, in other words. You're in no position to suggest this lady's testimony isn't the truth.
Nah!
Alright then, witness, let's hear your testimony once more.
About what, Your Honor?
You've admitted that you moved the victim's body. Nevertheless, your prior testimony contained a rather large inconsistency. Please add an explanation for that to your testimony.
Yes, Your Honor.
Will this be her final testimony? According to the guide. Okay, sorry. Moving the body.
Other than walking over the bridge, there's no way to move the body. So I must have just gotten confused, I guess. Is the snow still falling or had it stopped? Does it really matter that much? Or are you saying that there was a way to cross the burning bridge?
Well, I tried.
So it was just a misunderstanding, I see.
This is a photo of Dusky Bridge after it burned down from the lightning blast. It was taken on the morning after the incident. We are not sure where this photo was taken. It looked like the person was somehow floating over the river when they took this photo. I guess we had drones back then, I don't know.
It certainly was burned to a crisp, and one of the suspension wires even snapped. It's amazing the whole bridge didn't fall. Clearly, it would be impossible to carry a corpse across a bridge in this condition.
Dusky Bridge photo added to the court record.
unless I do something to discredit this testimony, it's going to be deemed as the truth. And Maya will be accused of murder.
Right. I am only going to say that one more time. It is only human to err. And only humans can spot the errors of our ways.
The more sense he makes, the less sense he makes.
All right, Mr. Wright. Please begin your final cross-examination.
Moving the body. I want to just like get through all of this tonight, but I just know that the ending is going to be super long, so there's no way. But I think we only need probably like another hour. Well, saying that, knowing how freaking long it is, it's probably more like an hour and a half. I can't do it tomorrow night, so maybe Friday night we'll finish this. And I'll end after we get past this cross-examination part. Other than walking over the bridge, there's no way to move the body. Oh, right. I actually, yeah, know what to do. So, pressing doesn't do much, but we'll look at a few of the dialogue set things. Yes, but snow had already stopped when the incident took place.
We couldn't have crossed the bridge, naturally. But I think it's just what Mr. Godot said. The body did make it across somehow.
So I must have just gotten confused, I guess. Was the snow falling or had it stopped? Does it really matter? This is no joke, you're giving sworn testimony in a court of law.
Well, Mr. Wright, let me ask you a question. Do you remember what the weather was like 1 week ago today?
Huh? Well, naturally it was,
See? It's not that easy to remember, is it?
But it had been some kind of special day I would have remembered. For example, it was pouring rain on the day of my elementary school graduation.
Objection!
No one wants to hear about your childhood traumas, right?
What?
By the time the murder took place, the snow had already stopped. You insist on obsessing over that one statement, let's see the proof. Show some evidence that the body somehow crossed the bridge while it was on fire.
Well, the body was on fire?
No, the bridge.
Oh. Come on, let's wait. I owe it to everyone to figure this out. But how do you transport a body across a burning bridge? Even if I don't know the exact answer yet, it's okay. I'll start by examining my evidence and see where it takes me. I gotta be like a shark. If I don't keep moving, I'm as good as dead. So, in any of her statements you can present Larry's sketch. A dead body flying over a burning bridge. I wouldn't exactly rule out the possibility.
What? Ha! You're saying it's possible. Don't make me laugh. The only thing that is possible about your claim is that it's been pulled out of thin air.
I don't know about that. In any case, we have a witness who did see it happen. Preposterous, he said. Preposterous. Great.
Who is it? Who is this very reliable witness?
I can't chicken out here. I gotta keep attacking. I gotta keep on the attack and go, go, go. Miss Elise Denim's brilliant and highly gifted apprentice, Laurice Denim. I love how he talks him up all of a sudden.
Brilliant. Highly gifted.
Apprentice?
Remember what he said in his testimony. That night he was at the Mountain Shack, Heavenly Hall. And that's when he witnessed the event. I think you've all seen this sketch before. It's an exact drawing of what he witnessed that night.
Are you serious? Today's not April Fool's Day, is it?
Looks like he's holding up Larry's photo when he points. I love how they keep getting on Larry for sucking and not telling the truth and stuff, because that's what he typically does. And then he shows him this, and then nobody believes it. And now you present it, and you're like, it was real.
Mr. Wright, are you seriously claiming that the victim flew through the air? And you're using this pathetic scribble to support your argument?
Hey man, that's not cool.
No, the judge looks like he's about to blow a gasket.
Huh. Well, right. There's no way for you to hide now. Other than looking like it was drawn by a 6-year-old, does this sketch prove anything?
Yes, I'm pretty sure it does, and I'm going to prove it.
Listen, I know your tricks. You're trying to turn this whole thing upside down. If you're so eager to turn this case upside down, why not start with this sketch?
Upside down? Why did Godot say that?
Alright then, let's hear the defense's theory. What exactly is this sketch trying to show?
I don't think the old Whisker Face is going to forgive any more mistakes. Alright, Phoenix, look carefully and think it over. This sketch drawn by Larice Denim is... It's what happened, isn't it? But, Oh, but they didn't fly over the bridge. It's Godot, not Godot. I know, I just don't care. Something is obviously funny about the sketch.
I'm no art critic, but even I can see that.
No, that's not what I meant, Your Honor. Larice Denim stated it over and over. This sketch was exactly as he saw it. However, if we were to believe his testimony, then the sketch contradicts reality as we know it.
It contradicts reality?
Huh, this is getting interesting. Looks like you're back to that finger pointing thing again. Okay, Trite. So what exactly contradicts reality as we know it?
Well, it's upside down, so. The wire, the guide wire, the support wires are upside down. It's the wire connected to the bridge.
The wire. Huh. Is that the thing that contradicts reality?
It is indeed.
Then show us the reality it supposedly conflicts with. Show us something that will point out how the sketch contradicts reality.
The ski bridge photo. Photo of the bridge. Oh, that they just gave us. Right, that's the only one we have. So yeah, there's like those wires that aren't there in the photo now.
That's a photo of Dusky Bridge, correct?
Yes, now compare the sketch and the photo for a minute. In the sketch, the wires appear to be above the guard wires. Sorry, the wires appear to be above the guard. Yeah, I read it right. But on the actual Dusky Bridge,
Jumping Jehoshaphat!
the wires are below the guard wires.
What?
Or something like that.
Order, order, order! This sketch is somewhat different than what's depicted in the photo. However, isn't it likely that the artist just saw it wrong?
Perhaps he just drew it wrong.
Either way, it sounds like you're just wrong.
With someone like Larice, I admit a mistake is definitely a possibility. But then, that begs the question, why did he make a mistake? What was the reason?
Are you saying you know the answer to that?
Listen, think back, alright? Remember what Larice was doing when he witnessed this event. He was at Heavenly Hall waiting for a lover that was never going to come. He waited and waited, and finally he laid down. But then, lightning shoots from the sky and sets the bridge aflame. Now ponder what sort of position Larry must have been in at that time. It's kind of weird they almost expect us to see this image of him laying on his back. Guess he sleeps on his back, I don't know. I know that, I guess. He was lying on his back, which is why he remembers the scene the way he did.
He was lying on his back. I can't see how it relates.
But it does, Your Honor. That's the reason why the wires on the sketch go up instead of down. Yeah, we saw it, but like, that was a visual for us. It's weird that like he would see a picture of Larry laying on his back at the moment of the lightning strike. It just kind of, I don't know. It's better than calling Larry in and being like, Larry, do you sleep on your back? And he's like, yeah, man.
Ugh, no way.
Larice Denim witnessed the events while he was lying on his back, face up. I like how he calls him Larice Denim. In other words, the scene that he saw was actually upside down. Yep. I remember that in this case.
So then, this sketch should actually...
I think you finally get it, Your Honor. The correct way to view Lauristinum's sketch is like this. This is how it should actually look. The victim's body wasn't flying above the bridge, it was actually swinging below. That's right, just like a pendulum. Oh, here comes the music. All right, here we go. Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Order, order, order!
Objection.
Oh, the things to say. A pendulum. The bridge was burning to a crisp. There was no way to get across it. But if the body had been found at the inner temple, it would have caused problems. This is where the criminal decides to take a gamble. They used the burning bridge to get the body across to the other side. And the pendulum was the only way to get it done.
Objection.
Let's think about this for a minute, shall we? The ski bridge is about 20 yards long, which means it's about that far from the inner temple to the opposite cliff. Yes, that sounds right. In order to cover that distance with a pendulum, you would need a rope at least 10 yards long. To get a rope that long, you'd have to plan ahead. The lightning struck it. That night can only have been an accident. Which, by the way, they've shown us twice the answer to this. But it's like quick and you're supposed to be looking at the incinerator when they do it. So it doesn't make sense that the culprit would have prepared the rope beforehand. So then, they didn't have to get the rope ready, the rope was already right in front of them. What? I'm saying that it was just a matter of using what was already there.
In that case, Mr. Wright, please give us an explanation to support your theory. What makes you think that the criminal had the rope on hand to create a pendulum?
Well, let's go to the Dusky Bridge photo.
And the meaning of this is...
If you want to know where the rope came from, it's hanging right there, in front of your glorious beard.
Ah, my glorious beard. This is one of the wires from the bridge.
When the lightning struck the bridge and set it on fire. God, this music is good. One of the suspension wires came loose from its anchor. The criminal didn't have any time to waste, so they tied the wire around Elistinim's body. Looks like it's stabbing right through her back. It's weird. Because there was simply no other way to move the body. Kind of figured the rope from the bridge. Yeah, they show us the guide wire rope thing twice, and then it not being there the next day. Huh. Glug, 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 glug.
Mr. Godot. It seems that Mr. Godot is more focused on his coffee than answering my question. It seems that the odds of a rope being readily available were very high. So I suppose that it's not an impossibility after all.
It's just extremely unlikely, but possible or impossible. That's not the question we need to ask. There's only one question. Did that really happen? Right, I wonder if you can prove what happened to us. Do you have any evidence that the body was swung over like a pendulum? There were bruises all over her body, even I know this. This is in the freaking autopsy report. And let me just double check it. Oh yeah, you can do that or the sphere that was found over at the other side of the bridge. Let's do autopsy report. Before I present my evidence, let me review what we know so far. According to this photo, one of the wires snapped. Yep, that guide wire right there. Looking at the map, we can see that it was we can see it's the one that was in front of the inner temple.
So then, that was the spot where the criminal...
Yes, precisely. Now let us consider the body's movement by looking at the overhead map again. If the body was pushed from this point here, it would drop on the opposite bank at approximately this point.
Did you say drop?
Well, they must have failed to catch the body on the other bank.
What makes you think something like that happened?
Because I have evidence that suggests the body was dropped from some distance.
What kind of evidence?
Take a good look at this autopsy report. It says here that her body fell about 10 feet after her death.
10 feet, huh?
That's most likely the height of difference between the two sides. The body overswung due to the forward momentum, but then came loose and fell about 10 feet. And then, as a result of the landing impact, this crystal sphere was knocked loose.
That's...
Yes, this bloodstained crystal amethyst crystal is the one that came off Mr. Elistanim's staff. Wow, I just like reversed 2 words. And even more important is the place where the crystal sphere is found.
Indeed, I believe it's already marked on this overhead map. The crystal was found.
Precisely, Your Honor. In the very spot where the pendulum would arrive if given the right amount of speed.
This explains your theory quite well, Mr. Wright. You have provided us with the way the body could have been moved that night. An impressive deduction, Mr. Wright. Most impressive. Mr. Wright.
I thought this cold coffee might help cool you down.
What is the meaning of this, Mr. Godot?
That was a dark and bitter guess that you made, Trite. But you forgot about one thing.
Oh, and what would that be?
The aroma. Huh? The coffee's most reliable accomplice is its deep and profound aroma. The rest of the court doesn't speak Hafenese. Can you elaborate a bit more? The criminal had sent the body to the other side like you say. Then naturally there must have been an accomplice lying in wait to catch it.
An accomplice?
The criminal wasn't able to cross Dusky Bridge. So, who collected the body? What do you have to say about that, right?
Mr. Godot is correct. This can't be the work of a single person. Well, Mr. Wright, you know what you must do.
Yes, Your Honor. The body couldn't have made it to the Hazakura Temple without an accomplice.
Very well then, if you please, Mr. Wright. Who was the person that received the body on the Hazakura Temple side?
Iris. Can only be you, Sister Iris.
Huh? But I
don't see why you're so surprised. The only way to transport the body from Dusky Bridge is by snowmobile. But with her bad back, Sister Bikini could never pick up a body like that. You're the only one who could have managed it. Right, but are you even listening to the witness's testimony? On the night of the crime, this little cutie pie was on cleanup duty in the inner temple garden after the mother-daughter's bloodbath. I haven't forgotten, but have you, Mr. Godot? This witness was also seen at Hazakura Temple, desecrating the corpse of the victim.
Strange indeed. It's almost as if, on that night, the defendant was in 2 different places at the same time.
Sister Iris, let me ask you something. Why didn't you mention it when you first gave your testimony?
mention what?
The pendulum, of course. Using the sketch drawn by an eyewitness, I have established how the body was moved using the burnt-out bridge, which means it's now a fact. This occurred. Sorry, let me start that over. Which means it's now a fact that this occurred. Something you should have already known.
No, I had no idea. I didn't know anything about a pendulum.
But the body couldn't have been passed along to the other side without your help. So you should have known about it. In fact, it'd be impossible for you to be clueless about this whole thing. Unless you're not really Iris to begin with.
What? How can you say that, Mr. Wright?
Oh, what kind of nonsense is this? You're saying the witness isn't Iris of Hazakura Temple.
Objection!
Are you serious, right? You mean this woman is?
There's no one besides Iris who could have received the corpse that night. Now I get it. Now I know why I've been sick to my stomach this whole trial. Why her whole demeanor changed suddenly in front of me yesterday. And why she's trying to pin this murder on Maya. The woman that's standing here at the witness stand, her real name is Clarice Dahlia Hawthorne. I never thought I'd have to utter your name again, let alone see you. It's been a long time, Dahlia Hawthorne.
Hawthorne.
Sister Iris had a twin sister. And you're looking at her, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne.
That name rings some bells. Distant bells, but bells nonetheless. Ha! It's just your imagination, Gramps. This file contains all the relevant data about Dahlia Hawthorne.
I actually don't remember this part of it.
Oh, yes. I remember now. That case 5 years ago.
My name is Dahlia Hawthorne. I just want to say, it's an honor for me to be here in your noble presence. The honor is all mine.
No, the honor is all mine. Oh, yes, I remember that. But according to this, Dahlia Hawthorne is already dead. It says her execution was carried out last month. So, what? That is no meaning in this courtroom. What? Order, order, order!
Wait a moment. How can you? My sister, she's already dead. What kind of?
You of all people should already understand, after all. The blood of the master of the Kirin channeling technique flows within that body.
The Kirin channeling technique. Now, where have I heard that?
That's right, you're not Dahlia Hawthorne herself. You're the spirit of Dahlia, currently inhabiting the body of a spirit medium.
What an exciting story. Exciting but quite impossible. You're asking us to buy the Dahlia Hawthorne just happened to be channeled by someone. On the very night of the murder, to a temple where her twin sister Iris was.
Well, if you're going to put things that way, then yes.
Objection!
We're supposed to believe the coincidences like that just happened.
Remember that Pearl couldn't channel her? Naturally, it was no coincidence. The whole thing was part of the plan from the very beginning. It's all written right here in these instructions.
What's that?
These instructions were written by your mother, Morgan Fay. And a part of the plan called for Dahlia Hawthorne to be channeled. That night, there were 2 irises at Hazakura Temple.
2 of them.
Even the time of the channeling was planned out. As soon as you hear the lights out bell, in other words 10 p.m. However, Iris was seen before dinner time.
That means the Iris that was at dinner was the real Iris.
And the Iris who gave me this hood in the main hall was also the real Iris. Meaning that the Iris Sister Bikini saw at the night of at the inside temple was someone else dressed as her, namely one Dahlia Hawthorne.
Objection!
You even know what you're saying, right? This whole channeling the spirit of Dahlia Hawthorne business. Yes, it's true that you found plans that talk about it. However, there is one thing that's perfectly clear. The witness currently standing at the witness stand is the real Iris.
What?
Calm down and remember what you know about the night of the crime. After meeting Sister Bikini, the Dahlia Hawthorne that had been channeled would have been stranded at the inner temple due to the lightning strike.
It just looks like that rope is piercing her. It's so weird.
It was later that the body was moved by pendulum.
Lucky that she just dropped on the other side as opposed to falling any other time during that. That's the most unbelievable thing to me. Is he telekinetic? How did he find... How did the coffee slide into... The coffee always slides into his hand like that. I don't know. That's right.
Naturally, that would mean the iris that received the body was the real iris. Are you with me so far?
Yes?
After being notified of what happened, the police came to Hazakura Temple main hall. They found Iris in her room and arrested her. And ever since, she's been under police supervision at the detention center.
Yes, I suppose. I can't deny any of that.
Whew, thank goodness. It looks like he's finally convinced.
But something still seems off. Way off. I'm still not convinced that the iris here is the one from the other night.
Ha! I suppose you're about to say something really, really ridiculous. Like, the real Iris and the spirit of Dahlia somehow switched places.
Switch places. Like during an earthquake?
To be perfectly honest, there are still quite a few things I don't understand, but I do know that unless we confirm the witness's identity, we can't continue with this trial.
Iris doesn't have the spiritual power needed to channel Dahlia. Which is good news to me. I did not know that that was a thing. They must have switched places somewhere.
Well, Mr. Wright, since the time she was erupted at Hazakura Temple, have there been any chances for Iris to switch places with Dahlia Hawthorne?
There was one during the earthquake. Your Honor, I think there might have been one chance.
Oh, explain yourself.
I always assume there's like a little tiny barista guy that sits behind the bench who just like makes coffee and slides it in the Godot. Yesterday, for a few minutes, Iris's whereabouts were unknown.
Unknown? What do you mean?
What I mean is, there was a span of time in which Iris was able to move about freely, unsupervised.
Well, who was it? Who would give a murder suspect time to move around freely like that?
I'm sorry, I know you didn't mean to. It wasn't your fault. The person who gave Iris a chance to freely move around was my good old buddy, Miles Edgeworth. Said to be #1 in the DA's office, studies foreign judicial systems now.
This is Mr. Edgeworth, isn't it?
Your Honor, there was a fairly large earthquake yesterday, was there not?
Ah, an earthquake.
Earthquake! Oh my goodness, the inner temple. This kind of tremor might...
Man, it's so lucky that these natural disasters happen, such as lightning strikes and earthquakes, to make these story work.
Now could I have? She fled, and she escaped.
We went to the inner temple right away. And it's true, Iris is already there. However, they had already switched places by that point in time. When I arrived at the training hall, I was met by none other than Dahlia Hawthorne.
That's quite enough already, Mr. Wright. Now see here. No judge in his right mind would consider the idea of spirit channeling and...
Be quiet. It's been a long time, Mr. Judge.
That voice.
I guess I'll have to ask again. Upon meeting a beautiful lady, always ask her name and profession. It's one of my rules.
Dahlia Hawthorne, in my current profession, permanently retired.
Ha! So you're not going to bother hiding your identity anymore, huh?
Why should I? After all, I'm dead. There's really nothing you can do to punish me.
What is going on here?
Dahlia Hawthorne? I guess Iris does have the power to channel her after all. I never thought we'd meet again. I never thought we'd meet like this. But this time, I'll end it. For her, and for myself. Iris is alive, so it just like wanders around for a bit, astral planes, hangs out with the club, and then comes back when the person, because they always go somewhere else. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Like, they just like disappear for a bit while the other person controls their body. Yep. That is time. That is time to end it. Does it start in the lobby or does it start still in trial? Oh, it starts still in trial. Okay. So we'll pick that up next time. And let's see how much more we got left to go. Yeah, we got enough for one more stream. And it doesn't look very long in terms of the guide, but my gosh, yeah. There's gonna be like a long epilogue and stuff because it basically ends the series. So super looking forward to ending this. It's gonna be great. Yeah. So yeah, thanks for watching, and we will pick this up on Friday. So yeah, I'll see you then. Bye bye.